My beloved, I saw your sorrow before you ever spoke a word of it. I heard the silent cries that never left your lips, and I felt the trembling of your soul each time despair tried to break you down. You thought no one noticed, that no one cared, that your pain was invisible, lost in the noise of a world moving too fast to slow down for a heart that's breaking. But I noticed. I cared. And I slowed everything down just for this moment, because I need you to hear me now. This is not the end of your story. This is not the place where you collapse under the weight of what life threw at you. No, this is the moment where I, your God, step in not to watch from afar, not to offer distant comfort, but to remove the sadness, the anguish, the fear, and the desperation that have been consuming your heart. I'm not here to give you a temporary escape. I'm here to completely transform the atmosphere around you. You've carried this burden long enough. You've hidden the weight behind your smile, behind your responsibilities, behind your silence. But I saw the heaviness you tried to ignore, and I've come to take it from you. I am the God who restores not in part but in full, and I am beginning that restoration right now, in this very breath you're taking. Don't confuse my silence for absence. Even in the days you thought I wasn't speaking, I was working. Even in the nights you cried yourself to sleep, I was watching over you with tenderness deeper than you can comprehend. I never turned my face from you. In fact, I drew closer. I stood beside you when you thought you were alone, and I whispered comfort into your spirit even when your ears couldn't hear it. Your soul felt me. That's why you're still standing. That's why, despite the ache, something in you kept going. That something was me. I was the strength you didn't recognize. I was the peace that momentarily interrupted your anxiety. I was the voice that told you to try again when everything told you to quit. And now I'm making myself undeniable, because you need to know without question that I am here, and I am here for you. Your sadness has tried to become your identity, but I did not design you for a life of despair. You were not created to live buried beneath anxiety, choking on fear, waking up dreading the day ahead. No, you were created for joy, for peace, for divine strength. And I've never stopped fighting for that reality in your life. You've believed the lies that said things will always be this way. You've looked around and seen no way out. But I am not limited by what surrounds you. I am the God who makes rivers in the desert and roads in the wilderness. I am not intimidated by your circumstances. In fact, I specialize in turning impossibilities into testimonies. That sadness you feel is not yours to keep. That anguish you carry is not yours to manage. That panic, that dread, that feeling of hopelessness, it all bows at the sound of my name. And I am declaring over you right now, peace, restoration, and freedom. Not because you earned it, but because you are mine, and I do not abandon my own. You may wonder why it took this long, why the pain lingered for so many nights, why the breakthrough didn't come sooner. But what you didn't see was the preparation happening beneath the surface. I never waste your pain. Every tear you cried watered something sacred. Every breakdown was a setup for breakthrough. Every moment you thought would destroy you was actually reshaping you. I have been building strength in your soul, preparing your spirit, anchoring your heart for what's coming next. And what's coming is not more sorrow. What's coming is not more of the same. What's coming is the release you've been begging for. The shift you stopped believing was possible. The breath you forgot you were allowed to take. Yes, I am removing your sadness. But I'm not leaving you empty. I'm filling you with something greater, joy that doesn't make sense, peace that surpasses all understanding, and hope that refuses to die. That is my promise to you. And I do not speak in vain. This is not a temporary word. This is a divine intervention. This is me, stepping into your story and rewriting the chapter you thought was finished. I am not intimidated by how long you've felt stuck. I am not discouraged by how deep the sadness runs. I go deeper. I reach further. I heal more completely than you dare to imagine. There are places in you that haven't felt light in years, places you've hidden even from yourself. But I see them, and I'm shining my light there now. The shadows are trembling. The fear is losing its grip, and the lie that said you'll never feel peace again is being silenced by my truth. You are not beyond healing. You are not too far gone. You are not forgotten. You are seen, held, chosen, and fiercely loved. Stay with me. Don't retreat into isolation now. I know you've built walls to protect yourself from more pain, but those walls have kept my comfort out too. Let me in. Let me hold what you've tried to carry alone. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to fix yourself. You just have to breathe and let me be God. I don't expect you to have all the answers. I only ask that you trust the one who does. I know how tired you are. I know how many times you've said, I can't do this anymore. But you don't have to do it alone. I'm not just offering help. I'm offering myself fully, completely, unconditionally. And in my presence, the sadness begins to lose its power. I'm not asking for performance. I'm inviting you into healing. Let go of the pressure to pretend everything's okay. Let go of the shame that says you should be stronger by now. Let go of the fear that says if you fall apart again, no one will catch you. I will. I always have. And I always will. You can collapse in my arms. You can sob without words. You can let the tears fall freely. I do not flinch at your emotions. I created them, and I can hold every single one without judgment. This is your safe place. This is holy ground. Not because of where you are, but because of who is with you. I am here, and I'm not leaving. No matter how messy it gets, no matter how many times you stumble, no matter how broken you feel, I will stay. I will carry you. I will restore you. And I will keep speaking until every trace of sadness bows before the weight of my love. You've been living in survival mode for too long, bracing yourself for the next disappointment, the next wave of sadness, the next unexpected blow. It's as if your heart has been on edge, never resting, always scanning the horizon for danger. But I did not create you to merely survive. I created you to breathe deeply, to walk freely, to love boldly, and to hope without hesitation. The armor you wear, the emotional shield you've built to avoid being hurt again, it's heavy, isn't it? You put it on thinking it would protect you, but now it's suffocating you. You smile with your lips, but your soul has forgotten what it feels like to rejoice. You go through the motions, doing what you must, showing up for others, keeping everything together on the outside. But inside, it's been chaos. That's why I'm stepping in, not to shame you for the cracks, but to pour my healing into them. You were never meant to carry this alone, and certainly not forever. And now, your forever is being rewritten. Every lie you believed about your worth, about your future, about my presence, I'm tearing them down. You believed you were too much for some people, too emotional, too intense, too broken. But you were never too much for me. I designed every layer of your being with purpose. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a gift I placed in you to sense things others cannot. Your depth of feeling is not a weakness. It's a mirror of my own heart. And your need for comfort, for love, for healing, that is not shameful. It's holy, because in that need, I meet you. In that openness, I restore you. Stop apologizing for your ache. Bring it to me instead. I will not scold you for crying again. I will not turn away from your trembling. In fact, I draw even closer. I gather every tear, not a single one wasted. Your sadness matters to me, not because it makes you weak, but because it shows me where to pour my love more deeply. There is a tenderness in my heart for you that words cannot capture. It is a love that wraps around your fear like a blanket of light. It is the kind of love that doesn't wait for you to be okay to show up. I enter into your pain, I sit with you in the silence. I whisper when the noise in your mind becomes unbearable. I chase down every shadow that tries to convince you that you are too far gone. I fight battles in the spirit that you will never even see, just so you can know peace in your soul. I am not watching your struggle from afar. I am inside it with you. I know what broke your heart. I know who walked away. I know the disappointments you never spoke of. I know the prayers you gave up on. And I'm still here. I'm still listening. And I'm still moving, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Your pain is not permanent, no matter how loud it screams. My promise is louder. Even now, I am softening the ground of your heart, where hope used to grow. I'm not asking you to force it. I'm not asking you to pretend. I'm simply asking you to trust the process I've begun in you. Restoration doesn't always look like sudden fireworks. Sometimes it looks like a quiet sunrise after a long night. Sometimes it's not dramatic, it's steady, like waves reshaping the shoreline. I am reshaping you, and though it may take time, what I'm building in you is unshakable. I am dismantling the foundations of fear and replacing them with anchors of truth. I am lifting you out of the pit not by demanding that you climb, but by lowering my hand into the dark and pulling you out myself. That's who I am, the God who climbs into your sorrow and brings you out with strength you didn't know you had. The numbness you've felt, that sense of detachment from your own emotions, that feeling of walking through life half alive that's breaking now. Not through your effort, but through my breath. I'm awakening what has long been dormant. I'm resurrecting joy where apathy ruled. You thought you lost your ability to feel deeply, to dream boldly, to laugh freely, but it was never lost. It was simply buried beneath layers of pain and disappointment. And now, I am uncovering it, carefully, patiently, with hands that know exactly how to heal what the world broke. Don't fear this unraveling. It's not destruction, it's redemption. I am not dismantling you. I'm disentangling you from everything that was never meant to define you. I'm separating your identity from the sadness. You are not your pain. You are not your trauma. You are not your worst day. You are mine. And in me, your soul finds its name again. Let me remind you of who you are. You are loved beyond measure. Not loved because you're strong, but because you're mine. You are seen without needing to perform. You are chosen even on your messiest days. You are pursued not because you are perfect, but because you are precious. I have never regretted loving you. I have never looked at your brokenness and reconsidered my choice. I knew every flaw before you took your first breath. I saw every failure before you made your first mistake. And still, I chose you, and I choose you again today. That is the kind of love I operate in. Unshakable, undeniable, unstoppable, and no sadness, no fear, no desperation has the power to cancel what I have already spoken over your life. So let the healing begin, let the walls come down, let the tears fall without shame. You don't have to prove your strength here. You don't have to earn comfort. You only have to receive. This is the place where your soul exhales. This is the moment where the inner storm starts to still. I am removing your sadness not just because I can, but because I want to. I want your joy restored. I want your heart light again. I want your future filled with peace and laughter and hope. You may not feel it all yet, but stay close. Because what I am doing in you is not temporary relief, it is lasting renewal. You are stepping into a new atmosphere now. One not marked by heaviness, but by healing. One not ruled by dread, but by divine delight. And this new atmosphere will not fade because it is rooted in me. There are moments when the weight you carry becomes so familiar that you start to believe it's part of you. The sadness wraps itself around your thoughts. The anxiety clings to your chest like armor, and the despair becomes a quiet voice echoing in the back of your mind, whispering that maybe this is just how it will always be. But I did not create you to carry these burdens indefinitely. You were not formed in my image to live beneath the surface of your potential, crushed by the remnants of sorrow and fear. I came not just to save you from eternal separation, but to deliver you from the lies that steal your peace today. The thoughts that say you'll never change, the voices that insist healing is for others, the shame that tells you your brokenness disqualifies you, all of it, I am silencing now. Because when I speak truth, lies lose their power, and I am speaking directly to your heart in this very moment. You were not meant to live in emotional captivity. You were made to walk in joy, to overflow with light, to breathe deeply without the tightness of despair suffocating your hope. I know how hard it has been to wake up each day and pretend you're okay. I see the moments when you smile for others but collapse in private. I've watched you gather your strength to survive the week, the day, sometimes even just the next hour. That's why I'm not calling you to pretend anymore. I'm calling you to be held, to rest, to fall into the arms that won't drop you. You don't have to have the right words. You don't need a polished prayer, just the willingness to lean in, to surrender your grip on the sadness that's become your shadow, and to let me take it from here. You've tried to carry what only I can lift. You've worn the mask long enough, and now I want to show you that my comfort isn't conditional. It doesn't wait for you to be okay. It meets you in the middle of the storm and brings calm where there was only chaos. You may have wondered why it's taken this long, why you've asked and waited, hoped, and still felt the pain return. But healing isn't always linear. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it happens in waves. Sometimes I'm not just healing the symptoms, I'm healing the root. And roots run deep. There are wounds in you that started years ago, perhaps even before you had the words to understand them. And now, in this sacred moment, I am reaching into the deepest layers, not just to soothe, but to rewire, to restore the design of your soul to how I originally intended it: free, whole, radiant. This is not a patch-up job. This is a resurrection. I am resurrecting the part of you that stopped believing life could be beautiful again. I am restoring your capacity to feel joy without guilt, to trust without fear, to receive without doubting if you're worthy. And yes, you are worthy not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. You are mine. That alone makes you deserving of peace. That alone qualifies you to walk into healing. I see the beauty beneath the battle. I see the fire that still burns even though it's been buried under layers of fatigue. I see the dreams you've shelved because life felt too heavy. And I'm inviting you to believe again, to risk again, not because things will always be easy, but because I will always be with you. You were never designed to walk alone through emotional wilderness. I gave you my spirit as a guide. I gave you my word as a lifeline. I gave you my son as the proof that love never gives up. So even now, in the aftermath of heartbreak and the confusion of unanswered prayers, know this: I am still writing your story, and it's not a tragedy, it's a testimony. The things that once broke you will one day become the very things you speak about with power and compassion. Your voice will carry healing not because you were untouched by pain, but because you allowed me to transform it. The parts of your life that seemed like failures will become holy ground. The tears you cried in secret will become seeds that produce fruit for others. You won't just survive this season, you'll be reborn from it. Stronger, softer, wiser, more aware of my presence than ever before. That is the miracle of my love. I don't erase your pain, I redeem it. I don't skip over your grief. I sit inside it with you until joy has the courage to rise again. You don't need to understand every detail of how it's happening. You just need to rest in me as it unfolds. Like a child leaning into the chest of a parent, safe and quiet and unconcerned with what tomorrow holds. That's what I'm offering you now. The invitation to rest, to release the timeline, to surrender the pressure, to come back to the simplicity of being mine. Let go of the fear that says it's too late. Let go of the belief that says healing is too far gone. You are one breath away from peace, one moment away from restoration, one encounter away from remembering who you are. And I am not far. I am here, closer than the pain, deeper than the ache, stronger than the despair. You've carried sadness as a companion. Let me carry you now. Let me take that sorrow and trade it for strength. Let me breathe over your life until the fog begins to lift. Let me speak words over your identity that undo the years of silent suffering. You don't have to brace for impact anymore. You don't have to rehearse your pain to prepare for disappointment. I am shifting the atmosphere within you. I am teaching your soul a new rhythm, not of dread, but of delight, not of sorrow, but of celebration. You may not be ready to dance yet, but you will. You may not be ready to sing, but you will. And the song that comes will not be one of survival, but of redemption. It will be the sound of someone who's tasted despair and now drinks deeply from joy. And that is the song I'm writing in your heart, even now. The sadness you've carried for so long may have tried to convince you that it defines you, that it's part of your nature, that it's your truth now. But listen to me, child, your sadness is not your identity. Your heaviness is not your destiny. What weighs on you now will not follow you forever. I know how it wrapped itself around your thoughts, like a fog that wouldn't lift. I know the nights when you stared at the ceiling, praying for a sign, anything to interrupt the silence. I know the ache that sits behind your smile, the tension that never really leaves your chest, the feeling that you're barely holding it all together. But I want you to hear this. You are not too fragile to be healed. You are not too broken to be made whole. You are not too far gone to be restored. I made your heart, and I know exactly how to put it back together. Every shattered piece, every cracked memory, every bruised belief about yourself. You've been walking through this season wondering if things will always feel like this, numb, tired, unpredictable. But no season lasts forever, and this one is not permanent. I have been doing something deep within you that no one else sees. They see your silence, your distance, your pause from the world, but I see the sacred surgery taking place in your soul. I see the roots I'm pulling out, the seeds I'm planting, the rain I'm sending to soften what grew hard over time. Your healing may not be loud, but it is real. Just like the earth doesn't groan when spring arrives, your soul doesn't need to shout for growth to begin. It just needs my touch. And that's what I've been doing every time you cried and thought I wasn't listening. Every time you whispered help with nothing else to give. Every time you sat in silence and hoped I was near, I was. Your healing isn't delayed, it's unfolding, slowly, patiently, intentionally. I am not in a rush because I'm not just trying to make you feel better. I'm making you new. And newness requires more than relief, it requires rebirth. I am rewiring the way you see yourself. I am dissolving the lies that formed when pain taught you false lessons about your worth. I am touching the memories you tucked away in your soul like hidden wounds, the ones that still bleed beneath the surface, the ones that told you it was your fault, that you weren't enough, that love wouldn't stay. I'm not just healing what happened to you, I'm healing what you believed about yourself because of it. You've lived with a version of yourself shaped by pain. Now I am revealing the truth. You are not your trauma. You are not the echo of what hurt you. You are mine. And everything that belongs to me has value, has purpose, has a future. This sadness may have been your companion, but it was never your inheritance. I did not knit despair into your DNA. I did not write chapters of hopelessness into your story. Yes, you've walked through valleys. Yes, you've sat in shadows. But every valley has a purpose, and every shadow fades in the light of my presence. You felt forgotten, but you were never forsaken. You felt alone, but I've never left your side. Even in your weakest moments, when you thought you were too exhausted to try again, I was holding you. Not judging, not disappointed, just present, just patient, just waiting for you to realize that my grace doesn't run out, and my mercy doesn't grow tired of your process. You've apologized for being sad. You've tried to minimize your pain so others wouldn't be uncomfortable. But I'm not uncomfortable with your brokenness. I'm not surprised by your tears. I'm not distant when your emotions overwhelm you. I meet you in that place. I draw near to the crushed in spirit. I do not ask you to perform. I ask you to rest. I do not demand perfection, I offer restoration. I'm not asking you to pretend everything is fine. I'm asking you to be honest with me, so I can be the one who lifts you up. You weren't meant to carry this alone. That's why I've been waiting, not for your strength, but for your surrender. Because it is in surrender that healing begins. When you finally let go of the image you thought you had to maintain, when you drop the armor you've worn for years, when you stop pretending you're okay and admit that you need me, that's when I move. That's when I fill the empty spaces. That's when I cradle the fragile parts of you with tenderness. And from that place of honesty, I begin to rebuild. Not the version of you that copes and hides, but the version of you that's free, that laughs without fear, that loves without restraint, that dreams again, not because life is perfect, but because your heart is alive. Don't you see? That's the miracle. Not that life suddenly changes, but that you do. That your soul no longer withers under the weight of sadness, but rises with the light of hope. That your eyes begin to see beauty again, even in small things. That joy becomes possible, not forced, but genuine. That your spirit remembers what it feels like to breathe deeply, to love boldly, to walk confidently in who you are. That's what I'm offering you. Not just escape from sadness, but a resurrection into joy. Not just temporary relief, but lasting transformation. And that's what's happening right now, even if you can't fully see it yet. The healing has begun, and it's not finished until you are fully restored. There's a stillness I'm inviting you into, not the kind that comes from the world being quiet, but the kind that comes from your soul no longer needing to fight. You've been in survival mode for so long that rest feels foreign. Peace feels like a luxury you can't afford. But I'm calling you out of the storm, not because the storm is over, but because I want you to know that I am your shelter. You don't have to wait for life to calm down before you can breathe again. You don't need the chaos around you to disappear before you can find peace. I am peace, and I live within you. That means rest is available even in the midst of uncertainty. That means you can exhale not because everything makes sense, but because you are not alone in the unknown. Your soul has been crying out for relief, for clarity, for something solid to hold on to when everything else feels like shifting sand. And that's what I'm giving you. My presence, unshakable and near. You don't need to understand everything to trust me. You just need to remember who I am. I have never failed you. Even when the way forward was unclear, I was already making paths in the wilderness. Even when your strength ran out, I carried you. Even when you lost sight of the promise, I never forgot it. My plans for you are not on hold. They're unfolding, even now, quietly, faithfully, beneath the surface. There is a deeper work I'm doing that cannot be rushed. You've asked me to remove your sadness, and I am. But I'm not just removing pain. I'm replacing it with beauty, with purpose, with joy that no circumstance can touch. This is not just about healing what's broken. It's about building something better in its place. A life rooted in me, not in fear. A heart anchored in hope, not in anxiety. A soul that doesn't tremble every time the wind blows, because it knows where it belongs. That's the life I'm creating within you. But to build, I must first clear the ground. And that means exposing what you've buried. The unresolved grief, the silent disappointments, the unanswered prayers. I know it's painful. I know it's easier to avoid those places, to stay busy, to numb out. But I love you too much to leave you wounded beneath the surface. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to free you. and freedom only comes when the truth is allowed to breathe. So let the tears come, let the memories rise, let the sorrow speak. I can handle it all. I already know it all. And still, I chose you. Still, I'm staying. There's nothing you need to hide from me. No thought too dark, no fear too heavy, no feeling too much. I welcome it all, because I'm not just God over your victories. I'm God in your valleys. I'm the one who walks with you through the places you thought you had to walk alone. I'm the one who understands the words you can't find, the sorrow you can't explain, the weight you can't shake. I'm the one who doesn't flinch when you're at your worst, who doesn't withdraw when you're drowning in doubt. I move closer. I hold tighter. I whisper softer. You are safe here, safe in my presence, safe to be honest, safe to heal. So stop telling yourself you're too much. Stop rehearsing the lie that says you're weak for feeling, that your sadness makes you a burden. You are not a burden. You are a miracle in progress, a masterpiece under restoration. And what feels like unraveling is actually me removing what no longer serves you. You were never meant to carry the expectations of perfection. You were never created to fake your way through life. You were made to live freely, fully, authentically with me. And that version of you is not far off. It's emerging, slowly but surely. With every prayer you've whispered through tears. With every moment you've chosen to hope again. With every breath you've taken when giving up felt easier. That is courage. That is faith. That is the evidence of me at work in you. You're not going backward. You're being reborn. And what's coming alive in you is more powerful than what tried to destroy you. Your sadness is not your end. It's the soil where I'm planting something eternal. And what grows from this will not just bless you, will bless others. Your healing will become someone else's hope. Your freedom will spark freedom in those around you. Your story will carry light into dark places. Because I waste nothing, not even pain, not even tears, especially not tears. Everyone you've cried I've caught. Everyone has meaning, and everyone has become a seed. And those seeds, they're starting to bloom. The joy I'm preparing for you will not be shallow. It will not be performative. It will not be based on circumstances. It will be the kind that surprises you on ordinary days, the kind that bubbles up from places you thought were too broken, the kind that reminds you that you are alive, that your heart still beats with purpose, that your life still holds promise. Yes, that kind of joy is coming. Not far off, not unreachable. It's already on its way. And when it arrives, you'll know this is what you were created for. You may have thought that your sadness disqualified you, that your pain pushed you too far from the promises I made, but I want you to understand this clearly. Nothing you've been through has removed my hand from your life. The sorrow, the heaviness, the despair you've carried, none of it has made me love you less. In fact, I've loved you even more fiercely through every moment you felt unworthy. My love doesn't shrink back when you're weak. It wraps around you. It covers you. It fights for you when you've forgotten how to fight for yourself. I never needed you to be strong for me to stay. I just needed you to let me in. And now that you have, now that your heart has opened even just a crack through the exhaustion, through the tears, through the fear, now the light is flooding in. And that light is me. I am not a distant force. I am not a concept. I am your Father, and I am here to stay. I do not love from afar, I dwell within. I do not wait until you are whole to come close. I enter into the ache, into the mess, into the confusion, and I build beauty from within it. That's who I am. That's what I do. And that's what I'm doing in you right now, even if you don't yet have words for it. Because I see what no one else sees. I see the resilience beneath your weariness. I see the spark of hope that refused to die, even when everything around you told you to give up. I see the small, quiet acts of courage, getting out of bed when your heart was heavy, whispering a prayer when your faith felt gone, showing up for life when your soul wanted to disappear. I see every bit of it, and I honor it. I don't compare you to others. I don't measure your healing by speed or appearance. I measure it by the posture of your heart, and yours has been turned toward me, even when you didn't feel me. That's faith. That's victory. That's the beginning of everything new. You don't have to be ashamed of how long it's taken you. Healing isn't a race, it's a return to peace, a return to joy, a return to who you've always been beneath the pain. Mine, my beloved, my chosen, my masterpiece. The enemy tried to tell you that you were disqualified, that your sadness made you weak, that your brokenness made you disposable. But none of that is true. What the enemy calls weakness, I call soil for miracles. What the enemy tries to use to isolate you, I will use to connect you with others who are waiting for the very healing you're receiving now. Because you won't stay in this place forever. The fog will lift. The ache will ease. The joy will return. And when it does, it will not be shallow. It will be rooted in the depths of what you've overcome. It will come with authority, with fire in your eyes and tenderness in your voice. You will be able to say, I've walked through darkness, but I found the light again. I know what it feels like to be lost and to be found. And those words will break chains. Those words will heal others, because they will carry me in them. They will carry the proof of my faithfulness. You thought your story was falling apart, but I've been writing redemption into every page. I'm not finished with you. In fact, I've only just begun. I know you don't see it all yet, but trust me, it's unfolding. Right here, right now, the parts of your life that felt dead are coming alive again. The pieces you thought were wasted are being rearranged for something holy. Your tears are not just falling. They are watering the roots of a harvest you didn't even know was growing. And when that harvest comes, you will be amazed at what has been growing in secret. So let yourself rest now. Let yourself stop striving, stop proving, stop explaining. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing process. You don't need to convince anyone that you're okay. You are held. You are covered. You are safe with me. This is not a performance. It's a transformation. You are allowed to be where you are. You are allowed to feel what you feel. You are allowed to take your time. I'm not in a hurry with you. I'm not impatient. I'm not annoyed. I am gentle. I am near. I am love. And I will never stop being all of that for you. You've been through enough. And now, I am lifting the weight. I am lifting the fear. I am lifting the lie that says you are too much or not enough. I am lifting the shame that's followed you like a shadow. It ends here. Not because you earned your way out, but because I carried you here. And I am declaring over you now, freedom, healing, wholeness, life. I am speaking resurrection over your dry bones, and you will rise, not as who you used to be, but as who I've always seen you as. Strong, brave, loved, redeemed. There are things within you that even you don't fully understand, emotions that confuse you, reactions that catch you off guard, waves of sadness that appear without warning. You've wondered if something's wrong with you, if perhaps you're broken in a way that can't be fixed. But hear me now. Nothing about you is beyond repair. Nothing within you is beyond my reach. What you call confusion, I see as depth. What you call damage, I see as detail. I formed you with intention. I designed your soul with sensitivity. And though life has wounded you, it has not erased what I placed inside you. The real you is still there under the rubble, under the exhaustion, under the pain. And I am uncovering that beauty, piece by piece, breath by breath. I am not asking you to fix yourself. I am asking you to surrender to the one who can heal what you were never meant to carry alone. I never intended for you to face this world in isolation. I never asked you to pretend you were okay when you weren't. I asked you to be with me. That's where your strength comes from, not from suppressing your pain, but from bringing it to me. And now that you are here, open, honest, laid bare before me, the healing has already begun. You may not see it all yet, but you will. And when you look back on this moment, you'll remember it as the place where everything began to shift. You've begged for the pain to stop. I've heard every cry, every whispered plea. But I need you to know what I'm doing is deeper than removing pain. I'm rebuilding you from the inside out. This isn't temporary relief. This is transformation. This is the kind of healing that rewrites the story. You won't just feel better. You'll live different. You'll breathe freer. You'll see clearer. And most of all, you'll walk in truth. The truth of who you are, who I am, and what we're building together. And that truth will become the foundation beneath your feet, no matter what storms come. Don't be discouraged if it still feels messy. Healing is not a straight path. It's a sacred one. Some days you'll feel full of faith. Others, you'll feel like hiding, and I will be with you in all of it. I don't measure your progress by your emotions. I measure it by your honesty. And you've been honest, even when it scared you, even when it hurt. That's bravery. That's the soil where miracles grow. So stop judging yourself by the pace of others. Stop looking around to see if you're doing it right. Look to me. I am your shepherd. I know exactly how to lead your heart home. And home is what I'm bringing you back to, not a place, but a state of being where you are fully known and fully loved, where you don't have to pretend, or earn, or strive, where your soul exhales and your spirit remembers. This is who I am. I am safe. I am loved. I am chosen. That identity is not earned by performance. It is received by grace. And I am pouring out that grace over you now, in waves, in silence, in stillness. Let it soak into every part of you that's felt overlooked. Let it baptize the parts of you you've tried to hide. Let it wash away the lies, the shame, the guilt that was never yours to carry. You've been walking through a valley, but I've been walking with you. You may not have felt me, but I never left. You may not have heard me, but I've been speaking in the pauses, in the stillness, in the space between your words. And now I'm turning the page. I'm not erasing your past. I'm redeeming it. Every scar will tell a story of grace. Every tear will become a testimony of resurrection. Every broken piece will fit into a mosaic of glory that only I could have designed. You won't just survive this, you'll shine through it. Not because you forced your way forward, but because you let me carry you through. I've never been after your perfection. I've always been after your heart. And your heart, even broken, is still beautiful to me. It's still worthy of love, still worthy of joy, still worthy of dreams. Do not let pain tell you who you are. Do not let fear decide your future. You belong to me. That means you belong to hope. You belong to promise. You belong to peace that doesn't make sense to the world. And that peace is coming, like the first light after a long night. Soft, sure, undeniable. It's not a feeling, it's a reality. And it will anchor you in the days ahead. So breathe now, not because everything is fixed, but because you are being held by the one who can hold it all. Let go of what you can't control. I never asked you to carry the weight of the world. I only asked you to trust that I already am, and I am for you, for your mind, for your healing, for your peace. I am not just the God of heaven, I am the God of your heart, and I will never leave you here, not halfway healed, not half alive. I will finish what I started, and when I do, you'll look in the mirror and see what I've always seen, my beloved radiant with grace, shining with hope, finally free. I know you've been waiting for a sign, something clear, something bold, something undeniable that confirms everything you've been feeling in your spirit. You've longed for evidence that I'm with you, that your pain has purpose, that your prayers haven't vanished into silence. So let me say it now with no hesitation. This is your sign. These words, this moment, this stirring in your chest, it's me. I'm the one who guided you here. I'm the one who has been speaking in whispers while the world roared around you. And I'm the one who's about to make all things new, not just externally, but from the inside out. The change you're sensing isn't your imagination. It's the birth of something holy. You've been planted in places of sorrow, but you are rising in strength. You've been tested in ways no one else saw, but you passed every trial by simply staying open, staying kind, staying connected to me when you could have turned away. That matters more than you know. The strength of your spirit is not found in loud declarations, but in your quiet perseverance. When you thought no one noticed your faithfulness, I did. When you cried alone and still whispered a prayer through trembling lips, I counted every tear. And I'm turning those tears into streams of joy. I want you to stop thinking of yourself as fragile. You are tender. Yes, but you are not weak. You've carried more than anyone realizes. You've stood through storms that would have crushed others. You've kept walking even with wounds that still sting. That's not failure, that's fortitude. That's the mark of someone who carries heaven inside. I didn't choose you because you were flawless. I chose you because you were willing to love in pain, willing to trust in darkness, willing to believe again after being broken. That is what sets you apart, not perfection, but surrender. And in that surrender, I've been building something unshakable. You've wondered why things had to happen the way they did. Why loss visited you? Why betrayal found you? Why doors closed even when your heart was open? But what you couldn't see then is what I see now. Some doors were closed to protect you, not punish you. Some people left because their presence would have delayed your growth. Some dreams were paused because I had to deepen your roots first. And now that the foundation is solid, I can release the fullness of what I've prepared for you. But it will not come to the old version of you. It will come to the healed, refined, awakened you who is emerging even now. So don't rush this moment. Don't despise this part of the process. It's holy. It's sacred. It's not the end, it's the unveiling. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And what I'm about to grow through you will surprise everyone, even yourself. There are gifts within you that you haven't tapped into yet. Anointings that have been waiting for this very season to activate. You will speak with authority. You will walk in clarity. You will carry healing in your words and peace in your presence. Not because you read it in a book or studied it in a course, but because you lived it. You bled for it. You surrendered for it. And now you carry it with reverence. Stop saying you're not ready. If you weren't ready, I wouldn't be moving now. Readiness is not about knowing everything. It's about trusting me when you know very little, and you've learned to do that well. You've learned to lean on me when logic failed. You've learned to sit with me in silence when the noise around you offered no answers. And now, you will lead others out of that same wilderness, not with pride but with compassion. You'll recognize the shadows on their faces because you've worn them too. You'll know how to speak life because you've had to fight to keep your own heart beating in hope. That's what makes your voice powerful. It's not echo, it's experience. It's not performance, it's presence. And my presence has never left you, even when you doubted it, even when your emotions screamed that you were alone. I was there. I was holding your hand when you thought no one noticed. I was wrapping you in peace when anxiety tried to suffocate your joy. I was singing over you in the middle of your restless nights, weaving promises into your dreams even when you couldn't hear them. My faithfulness does not depend on your awareness. It is who I am. I am steady. I am near. I am the same, yesterday, today, and forever. And I choose you, again and again, with no hesitation. You are not too late. You're not too far gone. You're not forgotten. The timeline you imagined may have shifted, but the promise hasn't changed. What I spoke over you is still alive. What I planted in your spirit will bear fruit. Not maybe, certainly. Not if you're good enough. But because I am good enough. I am strong enough. I am faithful enough to finish what I began in you. You don't have to force it. You only have to receive it. That's the invitation now. Not to perform, but to receive. Not to strive, but to trust. Not to hustle, but to rest in me. In my timing. In my love that never changes, even when everything else does. Let your soul breathe here. Let the noise quiet. Let the doubts lose their grip. I am here, and everything is about to unfold, not because you're chasing it, but because you've become ready to carry it. The new beginning you've prayed for isn't far off. It's already here, growing beneath the surface. And when it bursts into view, you will stand in awe not just of what has come, but of who you've become through the waiting. You've spent so long bracing yourself for disappointment that you've forgotten what it feels like to fully hope again. You've learned to guard your heart from expectation, thinking it was safer not to feel too much, not to want too deeply. But I never created you to live behind walls. I never designed you to settle for numbness disguised as strength. I made your heart to feel, to expand, to carry dreams that look impossible on purpose because I delight in making the impossible possible. So let me stir up that hope again. Let me breathe life into the places you locked away. Let me awaken what you tried to bury just to survive. You don't need to apologize for your longing. It's not weakness, it's alignment with heaven. Your desire for restoration, for healing, for purpose, for love that's me in you. That's not pride. That's not foolishness. That's the echo of eternity calling you forward. And I will not leave that longing unanswered. I'm not teasing your heart. I'm training it, preparing it, stretching it to receive more than you thought you could carry. The waiting was never punishment. It was preparation. Every delay was a deepening. Every silence was an invitation to press in further. And you did. Even when it hurt, even when it confused you, even when others gave up, you stayed. And I honor that. Now you're entering the season where the seeds you sowed in tears will come up in joy. You didn't lose time, you invested it. You didn't fall behind, you fell into grace. Every moment you thought was wasted is returning now, multiplied. What you gave in private, I'm about to honor in public. What you surrendered in the dark, I'm about to redeem in the light. You won't have to force doors open. They will open for you, not because you manipulated outcomes, but because you trusted me when it cost you everything. Your yes in the quiet has reached heaven louder than any shout, and I'm responding. Swiftly, tenderly, powerfully. But I don't want you to chase the outcome. I want you to stay rooted in my presence. That's where the real reward is, not in what I do for you, but in who I am to you. When the blessings come, and they will, I don't want them to replace our intimacy. I want them to enhance it. I want your gratitude to flow not just for the answered prayers, but for the journey we took together to get there. I want you to look at what unfolds and see more than a miracle. I want you to see me, faithful in every step, never letting go. You've seen me in the valley. Now you'll see me on the mountain. But don't forget, we were just as close in both places. I didn't love you more because you endured or performed. I loved you fully when you were broken. I loved you fully when you had nothing left to give. My love never increased. It was already infinite. And now you'll experience that love in abundance, in overflow, in manifestations that will leave no doubt in your soul that I am the one who sees, the one who remembers, the one who restores better than what was lost. I'm restoring you now, not just externally, but deep within. I'm restoring your laughter, your imagination, your creativity, your joy in the little things. I'm restoring your ability to dream without fear of failure. I'm restoring your relationships, Not all of them, but the ones that carry purpose. I'm restoring your confidence not in yourself alone, but in me working through you. I'm restoring your voice not to scream, but to speak with quiet authority, rooted in peace. And I'm restoring your energy, not just physical strength, but the fire in your soul that reminds you why you're alive. You are not here to merely exist. You are not surviving anymore. You are stepping into revival. Revival of your spirit. Revival of your hope. Revival of your identity. This is not a surface-level change, it's a transformation of the deepest kind. The kind that cannot be undone. The kind that doesn't need to be explained. The kind that leaves others saying, "There's something different about you." And you'll smile not because you rehearsed an answer, but because you know the truth. I did it. I met you in your lowest, and I lifted you. I met you in your mess, and I called it holy. I met you in your silence, and I made it sacred. Let yourself believe it now, not because you're trying to manifest something, but because I already spoke it over you. Let yourself receive without resistance. You're not too much. You're not too late. You're not broken beyond repair. You are exactly where you need to be, and you are exactly who I chose. Let that truth sink in beyond logic and into your spirit. Let it rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. Let it silence the critic in your mind that's been fueled by fear. That voice has no authority anymore. I do. And I say you are loved, chosen, healed, and ready. Not ready because everything is perfect, but ready because you're finally willing to trust me fully. That's the only qualification I ever looked for. Surrender, dependence, openness. And you have that now. So lift your head, let your shoulders drop, exhale. The battle you've been fighting in your heart is ending. Peace is taking over. My peace. The kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. The kind that doesn't make sense to the world. The kind that anchors you no matter what storms may come. That's what you're receiving now. Not temporary relief, but eternal assurance. And in this assurance, you will move differently. You will pray differently. You will speak, create, love, and lead differently. Because you'll know deeply, unshakably, that I am with you, for you, and working through you in ways you've only just begun to see. I want you to pause and feel this moment not as the end of something, but as the emergence of something holy. You're not stepping into the same life you once knew. You're stepping into a life that's been rewritten by my hand, realigned with heaven, soaked in grace, and marked by encounters that have forever altered the shape of your soul. You've been through pain, but pain doesn't get the final word. I do. And my word over you is life. Abundant, eternal, unstoppable. The chapter ahead is not built on what broke you. It's built on what revived you, what reshaped you, what brought you back to me. And now, everything moves with new meaning. Your steps are guided. Your thoughts are being renewed. Your voice carries weight. Not because you need to shout to be heard, but because peace now follows your presence. You're not a victim of your past. You're not the same person who entered the wilderness. You are a survivor of the unseen battles, a witness to my mercy, a carrier of fire that can't be extinguished. And everywhere you go, darkness will tremble, not because of who you are in your own strength, but because of who I am in you and who you've become through me. You don't need to convince anyone of your transformation. The fruit will speak, the glow will show, the love will flow, and those who once overlooked you will wonder how you rose. But you won't rise in pride, you'll rise in purpose, with tears in your eyes, not from sorrow, but from gratitude, because you'll know it was me all along. Every whisper of strength, every breath when you couldn't speak, every time your knees hit the ground and your heart cried out for help, I was there. I was answering. I was carrying. I was building the future you're about to walk into. So walk boldly now. No more shrinking back. No more apologizing for being chosen. No more explaining your process to people who never saw your pain. Your life is not an argument. It's a testimony. It's not a debate to be won. It's a light to be shown. Let them see it. Let them wonder. Let them ask. And when they do, tell them the truth. God did this. You don't have to have all the words. Just let your life echo the faithfulness of the one who never left. Let your freedom shout louder than your fears ever did. Let your restoration speak where your wounds once cried. You are being sent now not as a perfect person, but as a healed one. Not as someone with all the answers, but as someone who knows the one who is the answer. Your life will comfort others simply because you lived through what you thought would destroy you. Your story will carry deliverance. Your presence will release peace. Your hands will carry blessing because you are marked, not by trauma but by transformation, not by tragedy but by testimony. You are a living miracle, and miracles are meant to move. So don't sit in silence anymore. Don't hide behind what you think you lack. I've equipped you. I've empowered you. I've filled you. And I'm sending you into a world desperate for what you now carry. Hope, healing, truth, light. You don't need to wait for more confirmation. This is it. This moment. This word. This awakening. You are ready not because you feel ready, but because I have declared it. And when I speak, things come to life. You are one of those things. Breathe it in. Feel it. Own it. This is your time. Not because everything is easy now, but because you know where your strength comes from. Not because all problems disappear, but because you no longer face them alone. Not because you have control, but because you finally surrendered it. And in that surrender, you've found power. Real power. The kind that doesn't dominate, but liberates. The kind that doesn't crush, but creates. The kind that doesn't seek attention, but carries anointing. And that's what rests on you now. Anointing. Favor. Authority. Not earned, given. Not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. And that was always enough. So rise now, not with noise, but with clarity. Not with striving, but with certainty. Not with pride, but with peace. You have been chosen, not for comfort, but for calling. Not to remain hidden, but to shine. Not just to survive, but to ignite revival in your home, in your relationships, in your generation. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs the full expression of what I've placed in you. It's time. Time to live. Time to love. Time to laugh again. Time to build. Time to bless. Time to be. And in every step forward, remember this. I am still here. I am not letting go. I am not changing my mind about you. My love is still as fierce as the day I formed you. My grace is still as wide as the sea you thought would drown you. And my promises are still alive, even the ones you gave up on. They haven't died. They've just been waiting for your heart to be ready. For your soul to believe again. For your spirit to rise with fire and say, "Yes, Lord, I'm here. I'm ready." My beloved, your identity is not tied to what happened to you. It is not rooted in the pain you endured. The mistakes you made do not define your destiny. The people who abandoned you do not have the last word. The season of tears, of anxiety, of darkness, it had its time, but its time is over. I am the one who redeems, the one who restores. And I am declaring over you right now that your blessing is no longer a distant hope. It is already coming. Not because you've earned it, not because everything is perfect, but because I love you, because I chose you, because I see something in you that you've stopped seeing in yourself. My child, I'm not looking at your flaws. I'm not counting your failures. I'm not holding a list of your sins in my hand. I'm holding your heart, still tender, still alive, still capable of believing again. And that is enough. That is what I can work with. That is where the miracle begins. You've been walking through life with invisible chains, tied to a pain that was never yours to carry alone. You've spent nights trying to understand what went wrong, trying to fix what was already broken, trying to make peace with people who were never meant to go with you to the next chapter. And while you've been looking for closure in places that only left you empty, I have been right beside you, waiting for you to turn toward me, waiting for you to lift your eyes and see that I have something better in store. You don't need to chase after what I've already buried. You don't need to prove yourself to those who never truly saw you. You don't need to explain your worth. I have written it in my hands. I have carved it into your story. And now, I am writing something new. There is favor ahead that you didn't expect. There are open doors coming that no man can shut. There are divine connections, fresh beginnings, unexpected answers. Because I am a God of restoration. Not of patching things up temporarily, but of making all things new. You've been surviving for too long. Now it's time to live, to breathe again, to laugh again, to walk with confidence, not because everything is easy, but because you know I'm with you in every step. And yes, there will still be battles, but this time, you will not be fighting alone. This time, the burden won't crush you. This time, the winds will not blow you down, because I am the solid ground beneath your feet. Let me be your peace. Let me be your direction. Let me lead you not in circles, but forward into clarity, into purpose, into rest. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to trust me. Even in your hesitation, even in your doubts, I don't need perfect faith to move. I only need a heart that is willing. A heart that whispers, God, help me. And I will. I already am. Right now, in this moment, I am working behind the scenes. I am arranging divine timing. I am removing things that were blocking you and positioning the right people, the right moments, the right opportunities. You may not see it yet, but soon you will look back and say, that's where it changed. That's when the shift began. So take a breath. Let the shame fall off. Let the pressure break. Let the weight you've been carrying fall to the ground. You're not who you were. You're not stuck. You're not beyond hope. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what's coming. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. I work on eternal time, not human schedules, and my timing is perfect. What felt like delay was preparation. What felt like silence was protection. What felt like loss was actually positioning. And what felt like the end was only the beginning of something more beautiful than you imagined. I'm not asking you to understand everything. I'm asking you to walk with me, even when it's unclear, to hold on even when your hands are tired, to trust that I see the whole picture when you only see the next step. And that's why I've come to you like this, through a message, a screen, a moment that seems random but was divinely orchestrated. Because I want you to know without a doubt that your story is not finished, that your past does not cancel your purpose, that your pain will not be wasted. I will use it. I will turn it. I will make it serve the blessing that is coming. So stop running in circles of regret. Stop returning to what I've already healed. Stop rehearsing the wounds. Start preparing for the promise. I want you to truly absorb this. I am not holding your past against you, not the choices you regret, not the relationships that broke you, not the moments you wish you could erase. I've seen it all, and I still chose you. I still called you mine. I still planned a future for you full of joy, of restoration, of clarity, and peace. I don't discard what is broken, I transform it. I don't shame you for the cracks in your story, I fill them with light. So don't be afraid to come closer now. Don't hesitate, thinking you have to be perfect before you can walk into what I've prepared. Come as you are. That's all I've ever asked. The blessing that is on the way was never based on your performance. It was always based on my love. The enemy has tried to chain you to your history, to convince you that you are defined by what didn't work out. But I'm here to remind you, your future is not trapped in your past. The pain was real, but it's not the conclusion. The tears were necessary, but they were not the end. I have been collecting every one of them. I have been listening to every silent prayer, and I've been answering in ways that don't always look like what you expected. Some doors closed because they were too small for your destiny. Some people walked away because they couldn't carry the weight of your purpose. Some opportunities were delayed because I was stretching your capacity to handle what's truly yours. So no, it wasn't punishment. It was protection. You haven't lost time, you've been prepared. There's a deep change happening within you even now. You've been shifting silently, growing roots in secret, becoming stronger than anyone knows. You've learned to smile through disappointment, to keep walking with wounds, to stay soft in a world that hardened you. And I see all of it. I honor it. That quiet strength, that tender resilience, that hidden faith that moves my heart. And I want you to understand how deeply proud I am of you. You've come further than you realized. You've endured more than you should have had to. But you never gave up. Even when you felt like quitting, something in you, my spirit in you, kept whispering, hold on. And you did. That's why the blessing is coming. Because you didn't walk away. And now, as you step into this next season, I want you to do something radical. I want you to believe again. I know it's hard after all that you've been through. I know disappointment can harden hope. But you were created to believe. You were designed to live with expectation. You were born to carry promise. And even though life has tried to convince you otherwise, I'm reigniting the fire within you. You won't just exist, you'll thrive. You won't just hope, you'll receive. You won't just dream, you'll see it come to pass. Not by your strength, but by mine. Not by force, but by grace. Not in fear, but in trust. You've spent so long surviving that you forgot what it felt like to be excited for the future. But I'm reminding you, no, it's okay to hope again. There are things ahead that your heart will not even know how to contain. Doors that you thought were closed forever will open with ease. People you didn't expect will come into your life with kindness, with alignment, with peace. Opportunities will rise from places you didn't even know existed. And it won't be random. It will be because I designed it. Every delay, every turn, every loss, it's all coming together in a way that will make sense soon. I know you've questioned me. I know you've wondered why I let certain things happen. And I understand that. I never fault you for asking. But trust me when I say, what's ahead will redeem what's behind. What I am preparing will quiet every doubt. What is coming will prove that I never left you, not even for a moment. So lift your head, straighten your back, let your heart breathe. You don't have to carry the fear anymore. The future is not something to dread, it's something to embrace, because I've gone before you. I've already made the crooked path straight. I've already assigned angels to walk with you. I've already spoken your name into rooms you haven't entered yet, and when you get there, it will feel like home, because I am building a life for you that fits your soul. No more pretending, no more shrinking, no more settling for less than what I created you to carry. You are my child. You are marked. You are covered. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from what I've spoken over your life. Not your past, not your doubts, not your mistakes, not the opinions of others, not even your own moments of fear. I am more faithful than your failures. I am more constant than your emotions. I am more powerful than your enemies. So rest in that. Rest in me. Let my voice be louder than the chaos. Let my peace override the noise. Let my presence anchor you so deeply that nothing shakes you again. This is not just another season. This is the one where everything shifts. This is the moment your soul has been waiting for. This is the turn in the road where sorrow ends and joy begins. You may not feel it all yet, but something inside you knows. The ache is giving way to peace. The silence is giving way to clarity. The waiting is giving way to fulfillment. And I am right here, right now, walking you into everything I promised. You've spent so long carrying weights that were never meant to be yours. You've carried guilt like armor, shame like a shadow, and expectations that drained your joy instead of lifting your spirit. But today I am peeling those burdens off your soul. I am declaring an end to the striving, to the pretending, to the constant inner voice that says, you're not enough. You are enough not because of what you've done, but because of who I am in you. You don't have to earn what I freely give. Grace has never been a reward. It's been a gift. And this gift is yours, right here, right now. Not tomorrow, not when you get it all together. Now, because I see your heart, and that's where I start. There are moments in your past you still replay in your mind, words that wounded you, rejections that left you feeling invisible, situations where you tried your best but were still misunderstood. Let me tell you something powerful. Those moments do not define you. I do, and I have never seen you as unworthy. Even in your lowest point, I looked at you with compassion, not condemnation. My love never paused. It never weakened. It never disappeared. It held steady, waiting for you to turn toward it, to let it in. And now that you are here, it's washing over every memory, rewriting every painful narrative, and reclaiming the beauty you forgot you had. You are not the labels people gave you. You are not the failures that tried to cling to your name. You are not the almosts, the not quits, or the moments when everything fell apart. You are my beloved, handcrafted with purpose, woven with intention, and crowned with glory you haven't even begun to comprehend. I want you to walk like you believe that. I want you to speak like you know who you are. No more dimming your light to make others comfortable. No more apologizing for being too sensitive, too passionate, too deep. I made you like that. I wired you with intensity because your calling requires it. I gave you sensitivity so you could feel my spirit in ways others can't. That wasn't a flaw. That was a feature of your anointing. I know the world has tried to make you smaller. It has tried to convince you that your voice doesn't matter, that your presence is a burden, that your dreams are too big. But I am undoing every lie, one by one, until only the truth remains. You were born for impact. You were born to shift atmospheres. You were born to carry light into dark places, not because you're perfect, but because you are yielded. And that's all I've ever needed, someone who says, here I am, God. Use me. And you've said it. Even when you were trembling. Even when you didn't feel ready. Even when everything in you screamed to run. You stayed. You said yes. And heaven took notice. Now I am opening doors that no man can shut. I'm aligning you with people who will see you, value you, and walk with you not because they need you to perform, but because they recognize your heart. I'm shifting relationships. I'm restoring the ones that were meant to stay and removing the ones that drained you. I'm not just giving you peace, I'm giving you alignment. That means what surrounds you will begin to match what I've placed inside you. No more compromise. No more settling for connections that leave you empty. I'm surrounding you with what nurtures your soul, not just what entertains your mind. And the things that once triggered you, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, they're losing their grip. You're not the same, even if you still feel fragile. The strength I've been building in you is becoming your new foundation. You are no longer a prisoner of the past. You are a pioneer of a new future. You're not just recovering, you're being repurposed. Everything you've walked through is becoming fuel for what you're about to walk into. And it's closer than you think. You'll see signs. You'll feel clarity. You'll begin to notice divine timing that interrupts your plans in the best way. Don't resist it. Flow with me. I know what I'm doing. You've asked me for direction, And now I am giving it not always in booming voices, but in inner peace. Follow the peace. It's how I guide you. If something feels forced, that's not from me. If something brings rest to your soul, lean in. I am a God of peace, not confusion. A God of order, not chaos. And I am placing that order within your spirit, even as the world around you spins. You'll walk through storms with a stillness that confuses others, because you'll know I am with you, not as a distant idea, but as a present helper, a constant companion, a loving father who never walks away. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the part that makes sense. The season of confusion is giving way to wisdom. The season of delay is giving way to movement. The season of loss is giving way to recovery. And it's not because of your striving. It's because of your surrender. You've finally laid it all down. You've released the need to control what was never yours to carry. And now that your hands are open, I can fill them with what you were always meant to receive. You'll wonder why it took so long. But when you feel it, when you live in it, you'll understand. I was preparing not just the blessing, but preparing you to carry it well. Do not be surprised when things begin to shift faster than you anticipated. Acceleration is not always. Chaos is often the sign that I am fulfilling promises in their appointed time. What took others years will happen for you in moments. Not because you're better, but because it's your time. The doors are already swinging open, the answers are already in motion, the healing has already begun, even if you can't see the full picture yet. I've gone ahead of you to prepare the way, and every place your footsteps will now carry divine purpose. This isn't random. You're not stumbling into blessings by chance. This has always been part of the unfolding of my greater design for you. You've asked me for restoration, and I have heard you. But know this, when I restore, I don't return things to how they were. I make them better, stronger, more aligned with who you've become in the fire. That's why I allowed some things to break. That's why I didn't rebuild what you begged me to preserve. You thought you were losing, but I was clearing space. You thought you were forgotten, but I was setting you apart. And now everything I'm rebuilding in your life will be formed with wisdom you didn't have before, with people who truly honor you, and with resources that don't drain you but multiply through you. My restoration does not return you to where you were, it propels you forward into who you truly are. I am removing the fog from your mind, the heaviness that kept you second-guessing yourself, the anxiety that paralyzed your progress, the distractions that delayed your clarity. None of it will follow you into this next part of your story. I am giving you discernment like never before. You will know what is of me and what is not. You will sense it in your spirit before it even reaches your ears. No more confusion. No more entanglements disguised as opportunities. No more wolves in sheep's clothing. I am sharpening your vision. You will recognize truth without effort, because I've trained your heart in stillness, and stillness sees clearly. And as I elevate you, stay grounded in me. I'm not blessing you so you can drift from my presence. I'm blessing you because you've chosen my presence above all. Stay there. Stay rooted in the secret place. That's where the wisdom flows. That's where the peace multiplies. That's where the battles are won before you even step into the field. Don't be distracted by applause or approval. Don't chase validation. I've already validated you. Don't compete where I've called you to be original. The favor on your life will make room for you. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. Just keep walking with me, and I'll bring everything to you in its perfect time. There's a new identity rising in you. You're no longer the person who needs to prove their worth. No longer the one who settles for breadcrumbs of love or scraps of peace. You are stepping into the fullness of who I created you to be. And it's not arrogant to accept that. It's obedience. False humility has no place here. Shrinking to fit into others' expectations was never your calling. You don't have to apologize for the light I've placed in you. You were meant to shine. You were meant to lead. You were meant to carry my glory into places that forgot what it looked like. And you will. Boldly, gently, powerfully, authentically. You are entering a season where things will align so effortlessly that it may feel surreal. Don't question it, don't sabotage it, don't look for what's wrong when everything starts going right. That's trauma speaking, not wisdom. I'm healing even the part of you that braces for impact when joy shows up. You don't have to live in defense mode anymore. You're not at war with your future. You're not under attack. You're under protection. And everything the enemy meant for harm, I am turning into a testimony, not in vague, distant ways, but right here, right now, in your daily life. Watch how I flip the script. Watch how I use the very thing that hurt you to elevate you. I waste nothing, not even pain. Let go of needing to understand every step. I am not just the God of clarity, I am also the God of mystery. There are things I've hidden not to confuse you, but to preserve you. Some doors were blocked because the enemy was waiting behind them. Some answers were delayed because you were not yet ready to carry them. I work outside of your timelines not because I'm cruel, but because I'm wise. Trust that. Trust me. You don't have to figure it all out to move forward. Just walk with me. I'll guide you. I'll whisper when to pause. I'll nudge when it's time to move. You're not navigating alone. You never were. The way you've been loving people despite your own pain has not gone unnoticed. The way you've been forgiving when it cost you comfort. Staying silent when you could have defended yourself. Showing up when you felt empty. This is kingdom work. This is what it looks like to love like me, and I am rewarding it. You will not always be the one pouring. I am sending people who will pour into you, who will see you, who will remind you that you are not alone in your kindness, not isolated in your compassion. You will be loved the way you've loved. You will be covered the way you've covered others. You will be lifted the way you've lifted so many. This is my promise, not a possibility. I am doing something in you that generations after you will benefit from. This healing isn't just about your know, it's about your legacy. The cycles stop with you. The patterns break with you. The emotional weights that ran through your bloodline, they end here. Because you said yes to healing. You said yes to me. And now everything changes. You may not see it all yet, but trust me, your yes has power. It's shaking things in the spirit. It's unlocking things you didn't even know were closed. It's rewriting stories for your children and your children's children. And it all started with a whisper in your heart that said, there must be more. That whisper was me, and now I'm showing you the more. You were never meant to carry so much by yourself. I saw the moments you tried to be strong for everyone, while inside you were breaking. You smiled when you wanted to scream. You served others when you were the one needing help. You kept going, not because you had endless strength, but because you didn't think you had another option. But now, I'm lifting that weight. You don't have to carry it anymore. You don't have to pretend anymore. I am your strength now. I am your support. You can rest. You can breathe. You can finally exhale, knowing that what's ahead won't demand the same kind of survival you've endured until now. This next chapter is not about endurance, it's about overflow. The pressure is breaking off you. That voice that kept telling you to hurry, to perform, to prove, to keep everyone happy, I am silencing it. You don't need to be everything for everyone. That was never your assignment. I am healing your relationship with time, with rest, with productivity. You were taught that your value was measured by how much you do, how busy you are, how exhausted you become trying to stay ahead. But I never said that. I created you to live, to enjoy, to flourish, not to burn out in pursuit of an identity that was never yours. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where I need you to be for what I'm doing next. I've seen how your heart craves peace. Not just silence, but real, steady, grounding peace that cannot be shaken. And I'm giving it to you not as the world gives it, but as only I can. You will wake up and feel it in your chest like an anchor. You will walk into rooms and carry it with you like a shield. The chaos around you will lose its grip on your mind. The fear that used to trigger your body will have no power here. Because this peace doesn't come from circumstances being perfected. It comes from my presence being near, and I'm not leaving. I never was. I know how tired you are of starting over, of building and watching it fall, of trusting and being betrayed, of loving and being left, of hoping and being disappointed. It's exhausting. It makes you want to shut your heart down, doesn't it? But don't. Please don't. Your heart is still your greatest gift. I gave it to you not so it would be hardened by life, but so it could carry my love into places that have forgotten how to feel. I am protecting your heart in this season not by isolating it, but by surrounding it with what's real. You will not have to beg to be loved. You will not have to chase after being seen. I am placing people in your life who will recognize your worth without needing an explanation. They will honor what others missed. They will protect what others tried to damage. This is my healing gift to you. You keep asking, what if it happens again? What if I fail again? What if I lose again? But I'm asking you, what if you fly this time? What if this time it works? What if this time the door opens and it's not a trap? What if this time it doesn't break you, builds you? Your past was real, yes, but it's not your prophecy. Don't let the memory of pain write the future of your hope. I'm doing a new thing, not a recycled version of your fears. Trust me when I say the worst is behind you, not just emotionally but spiritually. You have passed the test. You have endured the fire. And now, the refining becomes revealing. You will begin to see the gold that came from all the ashes. Every word spoken against you in secret, I heard it. Every plot to discredit you, I saw it. Every betrayal, every lie, every moment of confusion that was weaponized to distract you from your path, I took note of it all. And now I am vindicating you, but not in petty human ways. I'm not giving you revenge. I'm giving you redemption. I'm not lowering you to their level. I'm raising you above it. Let me handle what they did. You don't need to explain. You don't need to expose. Your peace will speak louder than your pain ever could. Your fruit will silence what tried to defame you. I will prepare a table for you, and they will see it. But your eyes keep them on me, not on them. Your faith has been stretched beyond measure. I know. You prayed for answers and got silence. You believed and still waited. You sowed tears where you expected joy. But I am not unjust. Every act of faith, no matter how small, was recorded in heaven. And now the clouds are breaking. Now the seeds are pushing through the soil. Now the rain is turning into rivers. Your harvest is here. But it won't look like just more money or material things. It will look like joy in your soul, restoration in your relationships, strength in your identity, and clarity in your purpose. These are the things that matter. And these are the things I am now multiplying in your life. I see how much you want to help others. Even in your own lack, you look for ways to give. Even in your own heartbreak, you offered comfort. You think no one noticed, but I did. And I'm going to bless you in ways that will allow you to give from overflow, not from depletion. You will not have to choose between your well-being and your calling. I am bringing balance. I am bringing resources. I am bringing wisdom that will allow you to say yes to what aligns and no to what drains. You don't have to prove your love through self-sacrifice anymore. Your love is already proven. Let me now love you back through the very blessings you've been too tired to pray for. There is a turning in the atmosphere around you. Can you feel it? The heaviness is lifting, the fear is shrinking, the doubt is dissolving. You may not know what's coming, but you know who's with you, and that changes everything. I am walking you into wide spaces. No more corners. No more cages. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. No more apologizing for your growth. You're stepping into rooms that once intimidated you and realizing you belong. You're taking up space in places you once only dreamed of. And you're doing it with humility, grace, and power. Not because you need to prove anything, but because I've already anointed you for it. This is your time, not borrowed, not stolen, yours. You are not just surviving anymore, you are awakening. The numbness that once dulled your senses is breaking away. The fog that hovered over your thoughts is lifting. I am reactivating your heart, your dreams, your ability to feel deeply again, not just pain, but beauty, joy, and belonging. You are returning to yourself, not the version molded by trauma or shaped by rejection, but the original you I designed with purpose. You're going to laugh without the fear of it being taken away. You're going to feel peace and trust that it's not temporary. You're going to breathe, not to brace for the next blow, but to savor the present moment. That's what I'm restoring, your permission to live free. There are layers of you that even you haven't seen yet. Not because you were hiding, but because life didn't make space for your true essence to emerge. But I am peeling back those layers now, gently, lovingly, intentionally. I'm revealing the part of you that was silenced by fear, the creativity that was buried beneath survival, the voice that was quieted by shame, the boldness that was shut down by control. It's all still there, untouched by time, unspoiled by pain, pure, radiant, powerful, and I'm calling it forth. I'm not just bringing healing, I'm awakening the glory that was planted in you since before your first breath. You were made for more than cycles of disappointment. You were made for more than trying hard just to stay afloat. You were made for impact, for joy, for legacy, and I am aligning you with all three. There is divine orchestration happening behind the scenes, connections forming, doors being unlocked, divine appointments being set in motion. You won't have to force your way in. You won't have to network your way into the places I've reserved for you. Favor will find you because I've already written your name into the foundations of these next spaces. Your only job is to keep your heart open and your spirit aligned. Everything else will follow. Let go of the timeline you thought you had to follow. Let go of the pressure to be further ahead. Let go of comparing your journey to someone else's. Their pace is not your pace. Their blessing is not your blueprint. I'm doing something tailor-made in you, something no one else can replicate. You don't need to rush to catch up. You only need to trust where I'm leading you. Every detour you've taken wasn't a mistake, it was a divine recalibration. Even the places that felt like dead ends were actually places where I rerouted your soul away from danger and closer to alignment. You're not behind. You're prepared. There's a stillness I'm inviting you into. Not a passive stillness, but an anchored one. A calm that defies logic. A steadiness that's not based on how much you can control, but on how much you're willing to release. You've tried to predict every outcome, control every possibility, manage every emotion, but now I'm asking you to surrender. Not because you're weak, but because you're loved. Because I know what's ahead, and it's better than anything you could engineer. In this stillness, I will reveal things that striving could never uncover. You will receive blueprints, clarity, and wisdom, not through stress, but through presence. You've cried prayers you thought I ignored. You whispered questions into your pillow that felt like they disappeared into silence. But I caught every tear. I heard every sigh. I saved every moment. I wasn't absent. I was collecting the fragments, the broken pieces you couldn't even name. And I've been working, quietly, faithfully, powerfully. Not in the way you expected, but in the way you needed. Some of what I've protected you from would have shattered you if I had answered your request on your timeline. But my delay wasn't denial, it was deliverance. And now you will see what I was building while you waited. The relationships I'm bringing into your life next will not wound you. They will not confuse you. They will not manipulate or drain you. They will be mirrors of my love, safe, true, and healing. You've spent enough time in environments that required you to shrink. You've tried to earn love from people who only loved versions of you that fit their comfort zone. But I am done letting you be dishonored. You are royalty. You are my child. And from now on, what surrounds you will reflect your worth. You will not have to settle for halfway love. You will not have to teach people how to treat you anymore. I am surrounding you with those who see you through my eyes. And for the places where you still feel unqualified, insecure, uncertain, I'm reminding you, I don't choose the prepared, I prepare the chosen. You don't need a perfect past to walk in a powerful future. You don't need the approval of people to step into your purpose. You are not too broken to be used. You are not too late to begin. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for surrender. I'm not looking for performance, I'm looking for availability. Because when you say yes, I'll supply the rest. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. So bring it all. Bring the fear, the doubt, the trembling, the hope. I can work with that. I will work with that. There is so much you haven't seen yet, so much I've been reserving for this moment. The doors that were closed before are opening, not just to bless you, but to establish you. This isn't a temporary breakthrough. It's not just a blessing for a season. This is foundation building. I'm not just fixing what was broken. I'm creating something entirely new. You will stand on solid ground. Your name will be called in rooms you haven't even entered. Your work will carry impact far beyond what you can measure. Not for fame, but for purpose. Not for ego, but for destiny. You were born for such a time as this, and you are ready. Let your soul rest now. The striving is over. The proving is over. The pretending is over. You don't need to hustle for your healing. You don't need to beg for your breakthrough. You don't need to apologize for your anointing. I've already chosen you. I've already called you. And I'm not changing my mind. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And my promises over your life remain. Every word, every vision, every dream, I remember it all. And I'm bringing it to pass, not by your might, but by my spirit. So breathe deep. You are safe. You are seen. You are surrounded. And the best is not just coming, it's already in motion. You have no idea how close you are to the full release of what your heart has carried in silence. All the quiet endurance, all the nights you didn't complain but still hoped, all the inner battles you overcame when no one saw it has not been in vain. Heaven saw it. I saw it. And I'm not unjust to forget the labor of love you gave even when you were weary. This next season is not about you begging me to move. It's about me honoring what has already been deposited within you. You will not be overlooked. You will not be passed by. This is the moment where hidden seeds begin to bloom, and I will make sure they are watered by grace and sunlight from my spirit. There are things you let go of not because you wanted to, but because you had to. You chose peace over proving yourself. You chose growth over resentment. You chose to protect your integrity even when it cost you your comfort. And though it felt like loss in the moment, I was watching every surrender. I was collecting every yes you gave me in secret. Every time you said no to bitterness. Every time you resisted the urge to retaliate. Every time you walked away instead of fighting a battle that wasn't yours. I recorded it. I weighed your obedience, and now comes the reward. Not a transactional reward, but the overflow that comes when a heart remains faithful through fire. Many things tried to define you. Pain tried to label you. People tried to limit you. Fear tried to silence you. But none of it stuck. Do you know why? Because I marked you first. Before trauma, before rejection, before any voice tried to rewrite your identity, I called you mine. That identity can't be erased. It doesn't expire. It doesn't shrink when you make mistakes. You don't need to earn it again. You don't need to prove your worth. You already have it. Your scars are not evidence of defeat. They are evidence of survival. And survival is not weakness. It is the silent strength of those I am raising to rebuild the places others abandon. I know there are still places in your soul that feel fragile. Parts of you that flinch at the thought of hope because it's disappointed you before. I know how cautious your heart has become with dreams, but I'm not asking you to dream the way you used to. I'm inviting you to dream with me this time. Let me be the architect. Let me carry the vision while you just walk. You don't have to resurrect old goals that no longer fit. I have new blueprints, fresh direction, clarity that doesn't require striving. You're not returning to the same cycles, you're entering new territory. I'm not recycling your past. I'm birthing something original, something holy. You've seen me sustain you, but now you will see me elevate you. And not for your ego, not for applause, but because it's time for your voice, your gifts, your heart to rise into the fullness of their purpose. I've kept you in the shadows for a reason, to preserve you, to prepare you, to protect you from being mishandled before your time. But your time is here. No more shrinking to fit into small environments. No more compromising your light to make others comfortable. You were made to reflect me, and my glory is never small. When I lift you, it won't be because you forced your way up, it will be because you let me carry you with humility, and I always honor the humble. What is coming will not be like what left. Don't assume that the pain you went through is the price you must always pay for love, for peace, for purpose. I'm breaking that lie off your soul. You're not destined to struggle endlessly. You're not doomed to repeat the past. I am severing every agreement you made with fear, every inner vow that told you to settle, every mental loop that convinced you to expect disappointment. I am writing a new story with your life, one where healing is not just internal but visible. One where wholeness becomes your new normal, not your rare exception. I am healing not just what hurt you, but what hurt your belief in good things. There is a version of you that is not tied to pain, a version of you that is not led by fear, a version of you that doesn't flinch when peace lasts too long. That version is who I always saw. I didn't fall in love with your brokenness, I loved you before you broke, and I stayed through the breaking because I knew I could rebuild you. I'm not overwhelmed by your wounds. I'm not intimidated by your doubts. I don't turn away when you wrestle. I come closer. I get on the floor with you. I stay in the darkness until the light breaks. That's who I am. Not a distant deity, but an ever-present Father. A healer who never gives up halfway. I need you to understand something. The enemy didn't attack you because you were weak. He attacked you because you were marked. He saw your potential, even before you did. He tried to shut you down early, discourage you before you bloomed, distract you before you awakened. But he failed. Because even in the midst of all the confusion and chaos, your spirit stayed connected to me. Even when you wanted to run, you couldn't disconnect from my presence. Even when you were silent, your soul still cried out, and that cry was enough. It was enough for me to keep fighting for you, even when you gave up on yourself. I don't want you to live in survival mode anymore. I don't want you constantly looking over your shoulder, waiting for peace to be interrupted. That's not the life I designed for you. I came to give you life in abundance, not life in fear. I came to restore joy that is not circumstantial, identity that doesn't waver, and love that casts out every ounce of dread. You don't have to hustle for this anymore. You don't have to perform to be safe. Just be. Breathe. Exist in my presence, and I will do the rest. I will teach you how to live free, not just exist quietly. And as I do, you will notice something strange. What used to trigger you no longer controls you. What used to steal your peace now becomes your testimony. What used to make you question your worth becomes the proof of my love. You are being transformed, not by pressure, but by presence. Not by fear, but by grace. Not by proving, but by resting. This is the divine exchange I've always offered. And now, with your heart open and your spirit ready, I can finally complete what I started in you. The silence that once made you question, my presence will now become the space where you learn to recognize my voice more clearly. I haven't been absent. I've been refining the way you hear, the way you discern, the way you trust. Sometimes I speak loudest, through what seems like stillness. Not because I enjoy watching you wait, but because in the quiet, your spirit begins to separate noise from truth. And when the truth rises, so does freedom. This freedom I am giving you is not a concept, it is a reality. It is a posture. It is the ability to move through life without chains disguised as coping mechanisms. You're not just surviving anymore. You're being resurrected into wholeness. You are no longer bound to the emotional residue of past seasons. Yes, you cried. Yes, you broke. Yes, there were nights when your pillow caught prayers that never made it into words. But I am not holding those moments against you. I am holding them as precious. I am turning them into oil. The kind of oil that doesn't just anoint, but breaks yokes. The kind of oil that flows from crushed places and carries the scent of resilience. That's what you've become, an altar of oil. A vessel that holds power not because of perfection, but because of surrender. You said yes to me even with trembling hands. That is what moves my heart. I never required you to be unshakable. I only asked you to stay connected, and you did. Through confusion, fatigue, betrayal, isolation, you stayed. And because you stayed, I'm unlocking things in you that only bloom in those who endure. You will find yourself walking into rooms you used to pray for, stepping into favor that doesn't make sense, speaking with authority that surprises even you. Not because you forced your way in, but because your obedience created access. The doors you knock on now won't resist you, because I already prepared them. They recognize your name. They respond to the sound of your obedience. There is nothing small about what I am about to do in and through you. You've had enough small thinking. You've played small to make others feel comfortable. You've silenced your own brilliance so you wouldn't outshine those who misunderstood your heart. That season is over. I am enlarging your capacity not just for blessing, but for influence, for love, for legacy. What I give you now won't just change your life. It will shift atmospheres around you. Your presence will begin to carry the weight of my presence. Your words will echo with divine purpose. People will encounter me through the way you walk, speak, forgive, and create. And it will be undeniable. There are relationships that cannot continue with you into this new space, not because they are evil, but because they are not aligned. I know you've tried to carry everyone. I know your heart is loyal, even to a fault. But elevation requires separation, not out of rejection, but out of protection. I am severing soul ties that keep you tethered to a version of you I've already healed. You don't owe anyone an explanation for obeying me. You don't have to defend your growth. Let me be your vindication. Let me deal with what you can't change. You are not responsible for convincing anyone of your transformation. I will confirm it with fruit. You've longed for rest, not just for your body, but for your soul. You've been tired in places you couldn't explain. Exhaustion that didn't come from labor, but from internal war. That ends now. I'm bringing rest to your identity. You will no longer perform to be loved. You will no longer shrink to be accepted. You will no longer distort your truth to avoid abandonment. I am anchoring you in who I say you are, not who they said, not who trauma whispered, not who shame screamed. Who I say you are, my child, my vessel, my voice in the earth. And from that place, peace becomes your default, not your exception. I'm not asking you to go back and fix everything. I'm asking you to let me redeem it. You don't have to read everything. I'm asking you to let me redeem it. You don't have to relive the pain to receive the promise. Let me carry what you can't explain. Let me restore what you couldn't protect. The past is not your punishment, and the future is not your enemy. I'm in all of it. I'm making beauty from ashes and meaning from the mess. Even what felt wasted will become the foundation for what's coming. I am building something eternal out of what tried to break you. Nothing will be lost. Every piece is being repurposed. Do you feel the shift in the atmosphere around you? That's not just a feeling. That's alignment. That's the result of heaven moving on your behalf. Things that were blocked are now open. Things that were stagnant are now flowing. Things that were dormant are now alive. You are stepping into acceleration. But don't be afraid. This isn't a frantic sprint. It's a guided pace. I will teach you how to move with me. You won't burn out this time. You won't miss it this time. I'm redeeming your rhythm. The pressure is not yours to carry. The outcome is not yours to control. Just walk. Trust. Breathe. You've waited a long time for this season. You've prepared in private, hoped in silence, cried in hidden places, but I have been building you all along. Nothing was wasted. Not the delay, not the detour, not even the disappointment. I used it all. I shaped it all. I planted purpose in pain and glory in grief. And now, the fruit is beginning to show. Not because you finally got it all right, but because I always had a plan. Even when it felt like everything was falling apart, I was holding it together in ways you couldn't see. And now, what you couldn't explain will make sense by the peace it produces. This isn't a temporary breakthrough. This is a divine unveiling. You are not just stepping into a new chapter, you are becoming the new thing I am doing. You are the evidence that I still restore, that I still speak, that I still dwell among my children. Your story will be a sanctuary for others to find hope. Your scars will become signposts for those still searching. You won't just testify with words, but with presence. This is not hype. This is harvest. And it's here, not far. Not someday. Not almost. Here. And you are ready. There's something sacred about this moment you're in, not because everything is perfect, but because you're beginning to believe again. Not the surface level belief that fades with the next disappointment, but a rooted, unshakable trust that even when you don't understand, I am still moving. I see that shift in you. I see how you're choosing hope even when fear knocks louder. I see how you speak life even when the atmosphere around you is heavy. That courage is not going unnoticed. It is unlocking doors. It is shifting things in the unseen. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just refusing to quit. And you haven't quit. That is victory. I'm not after your performance. I'm after your heart. I don't need your eloquence, your perfection, or your achievements. I need your yes. I need your surrender. I need the raw, honest, unfiltered version of you, the one who questions, who wrestles, who cries, and still says, "But I'll trust you anyway." That is the faith that moves me. That is the faith that heals bloodlines, that breaks cycles, that shifts generations. And you, beloved, are that kind of vessel. Not because you always feel strong, but because you are willing to be available even in your weakness. That's where my power is most visible, in the surrender, not in the striving. There is healing being released over places you thought would remain broken. Not just physical healing, but emotional restoration. I'm touching the memories that still sting, the regrets that still whisper, the fears that still shadow your confidence. I'm not asking you to pretend it never happened. I'm asking you to let me rewrite how you carry it. You don't need to keep rehearsing what hurt you to feel safe. You don't need to stay small to avoid pain. I'm healing the reason why you keep returning to survival mode. You're not meant to live there anymore. That chapter is closed, not because you forced it to be, but because I'm writing something new, something your heart is finally ready to receive. I'm bringing clarity to what once confused you. The people, the detours, the delays, the closed doors, they will make sense not because I will explain every detail, but because I will replace the confusion with peace. Some things don't need answers, they need healing. And peace is proof that healing has begun. You will no longer lose sleep trying to figure out why it happened. You will no longer torment yourself with what ifs and if onlys. I am severing the hold that overthinking has had on your spirit. I'm not calling you to analyze your past, I'm calling you to live your future. Your freedom is not in understanding it all. Your freedom is in trusting me with it all. You're not too late. You didn't miss your moment. You didn't fail beyond repair. I don't operate by your timelines. I don't rush greatness, and I don't delay restoration. I am always on time. The moments you thought were wasted were actually woven into your preparation. Even the years you grieved will become the soil from which I produce joy. You are entering a season where you will be reintroduced not to the world, but to yourself. The version of you that is not chained to shame, not wrapped in fear, not carrying everyone's expectations. The real you. The healed you. The loved, seen, empowered, called, anointed you. And once you meet that version of yourself, you will never settle for anything less again. This is not about proving your worth. This is about embracing your inheritance. You don't need to earn what I'm giving. You just need to receive it. I'm not blessing you because you finally got it all together. I'm blessing you because you stayed close to me, even when it all fell apart. That's what matters to me. Not perfection, but proximity. And you've been closer than you think. Even on the days you felt distant, even on the nights you questioned my silence, I was right there. I never withdrew. I never disengaged. I never withheld my love. You may have felt alone, but you were never abandoned. I'm restoring your laughter. I'm renewing your strength. I'm awakening your imagination. You will dream again, not from fear of lack, but from fullness. You will hope again, not to avoid disappointment, but because you finally believe that good things are not just possible, they're promised. You're not cursed. You're not forgotten. You're not invisible. You are deeply known, deeply loved, and divinely protected. I know exactly what you need, and I am releasing it now, not when you fix yourself, not when you feel worthy, but now, because I've already decided you are worth loving and worth redeeming. Nothing can undo that. The seeds you planted in tears will produce joy. The prayers you whispered in exhaustion will echo into miracles. The private battles you thought disqualified, you will become your greatest testimony. What was meant to destroy you will now declare my glory. I'm flipping the script. I'm turning the enemy's plan into your promotion. You will look back and see that every loss carried a hidden victory. Every closed door was divine protection. Every detour was an alignment in disguise. You were never derailed. You were rerouted for destiny. Prepare your heart for abundance, not just material, but emotional, relational, and spiritual abundance. I'm not just giving you more things, I'm giving you more of me, more intimacy, more discernment, more clarity, more authority. You will speak and heaven will back your words. You will pray and strongholds will fall. You will rest and still produce fruit. This is not hype. This is harvest. The pain was not for nothing. The pressure had a purpose. And now, you're ready to carry what others couldn't, not because you're better, but because you are willing to be made whole. What's coming next won't require you to pretend. You won't need to wear masks to be accepted. You won't need to hide your scars to be embraced. I'm sending people into your life who will see you and stay, who won't be threatened by your strength or scared of your honesty. I'm building community around your calling, and the love you give so freely will finally return to you in healthy, life-giving ways. You're not too much. You never were. The right people will see you as a blessing, not a burden. There's a stillness in your spirit now, not because everything is resolved, but because you finally believe that I've got it. That's what I've been waiting for. That moment when you finally lay it all down, not just the pain, but the pressure to control the outcome. Now we can build. Now we can create. Now we can run. Not because the path is easy, but because your heart is ready. And I'm not just walking with you. I'm leading the way. You didn't survive all of that to end up living in fear of joy. You didn't walk through fire to settle for lukewarm faith. You didn't hold on through the darkness to now question if you deserve the light. I want you to let go of the idea that something bad must happen whenever you start to feel peace. That belief isn't from me. It's trauma talking. It's fear trying to keep you guarded. But I'm not sending you peace just to snatch it away. I'm teaching you how to live in it. This time, you won't sabotage the blessing. This time, you'll receive it fully. This time, you'll breathe without flinching, smile without guilt, rest without apology. This is the evidence that healing has taken root not because life got easier, but because you stopped fighting me in the process. Your spirit is no longer under arrest. What once restrained you is now under my authority. The voices that tormented you have been silenced. The heaviness that clouded your soul is lifting. The habits that once held you captive are breaking. I've placed new desires in your heart, not driven by fear of lack, but born from love and purpose. You will no longer chase validation. You will no longer need to over-explain your worth. You will no longer bow to the pressure of proving yourself to people who were never meant to steward your heart. You have my approval, and that is enough. More than enough. I am releasing divine acceleration, not the kind that burns you out, but the kind that restores what you thought was lost. You're not too far behind. I'm collapsing time for your sake. I'm making up for what was stolen, delayed, or overlooked. The harvest will not trickle, it will pour. The restoration will not be partial, it will be complete. You will not just recover, you will rise. Not to impress, but to impact. Not for applause, but for alignment. I'm not blessing you to inflate your ego. I'm blessing you so others may know the depth of my mercy through your story. You will walk into rooms that used to intimidate you and feel at peace. You will revisit places that once broke you and feel nothing but strength. The people who once made you question your value will no longer have access to your inner world. Not because you're bitter, but because you finally understand your worth. I'm calling you out of environments that drain you and into ones that build you. From circles of comfort into spaces of calling. From codependency into covenant. You're not just moving geographically, you're shifting atmospheres. And everywhere you go, healing will follow. Light will follow. I will follow. And now, beloved, let me speak something deeper into you. There has never been a moment when I regretted choosing you. Not in your failures, not in your silence, not in your rebellion. I have seen every version of you and still called you mine. There's nothing you can do to disqualify what I've ordained. Your name is written in my hands, your tears are counted in my book. Your voice is familiar to me even when it trembles. I've walked every step with you, even the ones you took away from me. My love never paused. My mercy never stopped chasing. My purpose never changed. What I began in you, I will finish, not because of your perfection, but because of my promise. So now, exhale. Exhale the weight. Exhale the guilt. Exhale the shame that was never yours to carry. Inhale truth. Inhale peace. Inhale the reality that you are safe, chosen, and fiercely loved. You have not missed your chance. You have not failed beyond redemption. You are not a lost cause. You are my child, and I am proud of you, not for what you've achieved, but for what you've endured and how you've kept coming back. You still believe. That's all I ever needed. This chapter will not end in sorrow. This season will not close with disappointment. You're crossing over into fulfillment, not fantasy, but promise. Not escape, but expansion. The pain you endured was not the end of your story, it was the soil for your awakening. And now, fully awake, fully seen, fully held, you will walk in a freedom you've never known before. Not borrowed, not temporary, but deep, sustaining, generational freedom. I'm not just delivering you, and delivering everything connected to you. Your lineage will be blessed because you chose to believe again. This moment you're living through is not just another ordinary second on the clock, it's a divine appointment. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were led. There's a voice greater than your inner fears, stronger than the doubt that keeps echoing inside your chest. And that voice is mine. I brought you here because your heart has been silently crying for clarity, for comfort, for a reason to keep going when everything around you seems to be closing in. I heard that cry before you even spoke it. I saw the weight pressing down on you when no one else noticed. And now I am here, not just as a distant presence, but as your father close, attentive, ready to lift you from that invisible place of exhaustion you've tried to ignore. I have seen your nights, the ones where your thoughts screamed louder than the silence, where you wrestled with worries you couldn't explain, questions that had no answer, and battles that drained your strength in secret. You walked through those shadows with a quiet bravery, pretending to be okay so others wouldn't worry. But I saw. I was there. And even in your quiet desperation, I never left. My spirit hovered over your chaos, waiting patiently for this moment when your soul would be still enough to listen, when you would realize that what you need is not another escape but an encounter with me. You are not too far gone. You're not too broken. The voice that told you it's too late was never mine. I don't speak in despair. I don't shame. I don't abandon. I restore. I renew. I bring dead things back to life. So if something in you has grown cold, numb, distant, don't panic. That's not the end. That's the beginning of resurrection. What feels like collapse is often the moment right before I breathe new purpose into dry bones. I am the God of new seasons, and this one is different. You've cried enough. You've feared enough. Now it's time for you to stand, not in your own strength, but in the security of my presence. You are still chosen. That hasn't changed. Even if you walked away, even if you let the fire burn low, even if you forgot how to pray, I never stopped watching over you. My eyes never left your story. While you were trying to figure out how to fix everything, I was preparing something greater than what you lost. I'm not interested in condemning your past. I'm here to awaken your future, to restore what was broken, to breathe into what was fading, and to show you that everything that felt like a delay was only a setup for something deeper, richer, eternal. There is a power moving now, in this very moment, right where you are. It's not a coincidence that you feel this stirring in your chest, this soft trembling in your soul. That's me. I am touching places you've buried, healing wounds you stopped talking about, realigning dreams you gave up on. I don't need your perfection. I need your permission. Open your heart. Let me in again. Not the guarded version of you. Not the masked version, but the honest, trembling version that quietly asks, "Are you still here?" Yes, I am. And I never stopped loving you. Stop running from what hurt you and start running toward what heals you. I am not holding your failures against you. I am holding your future in my hands. You don't have to beg me to show up. I've been here all along, waiting for the moment your heart would say, "I can't do this without you." And you're right, you weren't meant to do this alone. That loneliness, that emptiness you've been trying to numb, it was never meant to be filled by noise or distractions. It was meant to be filled by my presence. I am removing fear from your spirit, not because it isn't real, but because it no longer belongs in your story. I am giving you eyes to see differently, strength to endure longer, and peace that doesn't make sense to the world. This is not the end of your story. This is not the point where you fall apart. This is the point where you rise, where everything turns, not because the circumstances changed immediately, but because you did. You're learning to lean, to trust, to breathe again. That's where transformation begins, not with answers, but with surrender. Let the past go. Let the guilt go. Let the pressure to be strong go. I never asked you to carry it all alone. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. When you come to me weary, I give rest, not temporary escape, but deep, soul-level rest that brings you back to life. You don't have to strive for my love. You already have it. You don't have to prove your worth. You are already worth dying for. So stop trying to earn what has already been freely given. Just receive it. Just let it in. Just let me hold you while you remember how to breathe again. The path you've been walking might be hard, but it's not purposeless. Every tear, every ache, every delay has been seen, measured, and woven into something beautiful. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. The tension you feel is the stretching of your faith. The silence you've endured is not abandonment. It's refinement. I haven't gone silent on you. I've been deepening your roots. Because what I'm building in you can't be shaken by temporary storms. You're being anchored, strengthened, grounded. So when the breakthrough comes, and it will, you'll be ready to carry it. You don't need a sign. This moment is the sign. The peace you're feeling even as you read these words. That's me. That's how you know I'm near. That's how you know I haven't left. That's how you know the darkness didn't win. Because you're still here, still reading, still listening, still hoping, and that hope, small as it may feel right now, was enough. I can work with that. I can grow that. I can turn that into joy. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not too late, too damaged, or too lost. You are mine. There are places inside you that even you haven't dared to visit in a long time. Wounds you've tucked away, memories you've buried under distractions, parts of yourself you've labeled as too complicated, too messy, or too painful to confront. But I see them all, and not only do I see them, I'm not afraid of them. I step into your broken places without hesitation, without judgment. I am not the voice of shame. I am the whisper of healing. I don't come to expose you. I come to cover you with grace. The very areas you thought disqualified you are the places I intend to fill with purpose. You don't have to pretend anymore. Not with me. You don't have to wear the mask of strength when you feel like crumbling inside. You don't have to smile to convince the world you're okay when your soul feels worn and weary. Come to me as you are, shaking, confused, desperate, unfinished. I love you there. I loved you before the trauma, through the trauma, and I love you in your healing. Even when you thought you were at your lowest, I was kneeling beside you, wrapping invisible arms around your fragile hope, reminding your spirit that it's not over. I have never once called you by your failure. I have always called you by your name. The name I gave you before the world told you who to be. The name that carries destiny, identity, legacy. The name that still echoes in my heart with joy every time I think of you. You are not defined by what went wrong. You are not limited by what broke. You are being shaped by the fire, not consumed by it. This season is not punishment, it's preparation. And I am with you in every step of the process. I know there are moments you've asked, why did you let this happen? You've cried out, trying to understand the pain, the silence, the delays that made you question whether I was still listening. And I didn't turn away from your questions, I held you through them. Because my love doesn't shrink back when you doubt, it leans in. It remains. I'm not asking you to understand everything. I'm asking you to trust that even what you don't understand is still being held in the hands of a Father who sees the entire picture, not just the current frame. I'm not pacing the heavens, wondering how to fix what's broken in your life. I already have the blueprint. I already wrote the ending. The restoration is already in motion. While you were worrying, I was working. While you were crying, I was aligning. While you were feeling like nothing was changing, I was shifting things behind the scenes, clearing the path, softening hearts, and preparing the people and provisions necessary for what's next. Nothing you've gone through will be wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single night. I redeem it all. There's a gentleness in the way I move, but don't mistake my gentleness for weakness. I am the lion and the lamb. I fight for you with fury and hold you with tenderness. I walk beside you with quiet strength, and I surround you with a peace the world cannot replicate. When you feel surrounded by chaos, anchor yourself in my presence. Close your eyes and remember that I'm closer than your breath. Let the noise fade. Let the fear break. Let the truth rise up in your chest. You are not alone. You have never been alone. I am healing you, not just on the surface, but at the root. I am going back to where the lie was planted, where the fear began, where the pain entered, and I'm replacing it with truth, with identity, with my presence. You thought you had to cope, but I'm offering complete restoration. I'm not patching you up, I'm making you whole. Not in your strength, but in mine. Not by your effort, but by my grace. Let go of the timeline you've created for your healing. I work beyond clocks and calendars. I move in eternal rhythms, not deadlines. Even now, something is shifting in your spirit. There's a warmth, a stillness, a clarity settling in. It's not emotional hype. It's not temporary comfort. It's the reality of my spirit awakening your heart again. Don't resist it. Let it come. Let it wash over every anxious thought, every buried memory, every inner critic that says you're too far gone. You are not too far gone. You are right on time. You are in the hands of the one who specializes in rewriting stories. And yours is about to take a turn for the better. You are going to look back at this moment as the turning point. Not because everything externally changed, but because something internally broke open. You stopped fighting alone. You stopped hiding from the healing. You let me in. And once I'm in, nothing stays the same. I dismantle strongholds. I soften hardened hearts. I restore laughter where there was silence. I rebuild trust where there was betrayal. I give beauty where there was once only ashes. And I never, ever leave a work unfinished. What I started in you, I will complete. So take a deep breath, not because all the answers have arrived, but because the healer has. I am the one who goes before you, walks beside you, and guards behind you. There is nowhere you'll go that I haven't already been. There is nothing you'll face that I haven't already seen. And there is no weight you'll carry that I won't help you lift. You are mine. You've always been mine. And I'm not done with you yet. I have been calling your name in whispers that only your soul can hear. Even when the world grew loud and your mind drowned in distractions, my voice never stopped reaching for you. I've been planting quiet seeds of hope, not in the surface soil where fear could snatch them, but deep within the places you forgot were still alive. The ache you felt lately isn't a sign of weakness, it's the stretching of your spirit making room for what I'm about to pour in. Don't resist the tension. It's the sign that you're growing beyond the shell of survival and into the space of divine purpose. You've thought the wilderness was a punishment, but it's been a classroom. Every moment you walked through with dry lips and heavy feet, I was teaching you how to depend on my presence and not on your circumstances. The desert isn't where your dreams die, it's where your roots grow deep. You've been learning how to listen, how to trust without sight, how to praise even without clarity. I've watched you offer me your broken hallelujahs in the dark, and I've received each one like treasure. That kind of worship moves heaven. That kind of surrender builds the kind of faith that storms can't destroy. There are things I had to remove, not because I was taking from you, but because I was making space. You didn't lose what mattered, you lost what limited. Some doors were closed because they led to places that couldn't hold your calling. Some people walked away because their presence would have diluted the purity of what I'm building in you. I know you grieved. I was there for every tear, every late night wondering what you did wrong. But here, Methus wasn't rejection. This was redirection. I'm not taking you backward. I'm positioning you for something greater. You've been asking me for clarity, but I've been giving you preparation. Clarity is coming, but preparation always comes first. I'm building your foundation so that when I pour out the blessing, you have the capacity to sustain it. I don't want to just give you answers. I want to give you character. I'm not just crafting a breakthrough. I'm crafting the kind of person who can carry it with humility and integrity. I am not slow in keeping my promises. I am strategic. Everything I do is intentional, and everything I allow serves a purpose in your process. You think your prayers haven't moved me, but I say to you, they have moved mountains. Some of the greatest shifts in your life didn't look like explosions. They looked like subtle nudges, delays, coincidences, and closed doors. But I was in all of it. I am always in the details. I've been rearranging things for your good in ways you couldn't perceive. There were battles you didn't even know you were in, and I already won them for you. The answers are on their way. The peace is already approaching. The joy is not far off. Keep holding on, it's closer than you think. When you walk into rooms now, don't shrink. Don't apologize for the anointing on your life. You carry something sacred. You carry light. You carry presence. It's not pride to stand in what I gave you, it's obedience. You were created to reflect my glory, not to hide it. Stop waiting for others to validate what I already confirmed in private. You heard me. You felt me. You know what I said. Stand on that, even if no one claps. Obedience is never about applause, it's about alignment. And you are in alignment with heaven even when the earth doesn't yet understand it. The pressure you feel right now is not to break you, to birth something new. The labor pains always intensify before the delivery. So if it feels like everything is pressing in at once, don't panic. This is holy ground. This is sacred tension. This is the stretch before the shift, and you don't have to navigate it alone. I'm here, midwife of your miracle, breathing peace into your lungs, courage into your spine, and clarity into your vision. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be present. I'm asking you to stay close, to stay open, to stay trusting. There's more in you than you've dared to believe. Dreams you shelved because they seemed too big. Hopes you buried because they were too fragile. Visions you abandoned because others couldn't see them. But I never stopped seeing them. I never stopped seeing you. And now I'm calling those buried things to rise. I'm calling life back into the parts of you that forgot what it felt like to dream. Don't dismiss the ideas that return to you in quiet moments. Don't ignore the fire you feel when you think about the thing you were created to do. That's me. That's purpose. Waking up again. And no, it's not too late. I don't operate within human deadlines. I redeem time. I restore lost years. I resurrect what seemed long gone. My power doesn't diminish with delay. In fact, the longer the wait, the greater the wonder. I'm not intimidated by what you think you've missed. I am the God of second chances, third chances, and fresh starts. I don't write people off, I write them into redemption stories. You're not an exception. You're not disqualified. You are exactly who I said you were, and I will finish what I started in you. So let the walls around your heart begin to soften. Let the fear begin to loosen its grip. Let the truth of my presence anchor you again. You don't have to figure everything out today. You don't have to fix everything in one moment. Just breathe. Just listen. Just let me love you through this moment. You are not on trial. You are not a disappointment. You are not a lost cause. You are mine. And that truth is enough to carry you through everything that's coming next. You've carried burdens that were never yours to hold, responsibilities that bent your back and bruised your confidence. Somewhere along the way, you mistook survival for strength and silence for peace. But I never designed you to live exhausted from pretending. I created you to live from overflow, not depletion. You were meant to thrive, not just endure. And I am calling you back to that design. I am restoring your rhythm. I am returning your joy not as a reward for performance, but as a gift for simply being mine. Stop measuring your worth by your productivity. I never said you had to earn rest. I never said you had to prove yourself through constant doing. The world taught you that, but I am unteaching it now. I've watched you push through fatigue, press through disappointment, and pretend to be okay when your heart was unraveling behind closed doors. But I'm not fooled by your mask. I see the tears behind your strength, the ache beneath your smile. And I want to meet you in those honest places, not the polished version you think I expect. I want the real youth, raw, unfinished, overwhelmed you, because that's where the healing begins. You don't have to impress me. I'm not waiting for perfection. I'm waiting for permission to enter, to restore, to rewire the way you see yourself. I'm not asking you to fix what's broken before coming to me. I'm asking you to bring me the broken pieces so I can do what only I can do: make beauty from ashes, life from dust, hope from ruins. I specialize in resurrection, not rejection. I don't discard what's cracked, I dwell in it. I don't avoid the mess, I move into it, and I make it holy. There's a quiet war happening in your mind, a back and forth between truth and lies, fear and faith. And I see how tired you are of fighting to believe again. But I want you to know that I'm not disappointed in your doubts. I'm not surprised by your questions. I'm not offended by your weariness. I am steady when you are shaky. I am truth when your thoughts betray you. I am peace when your mind feels like a battlefield. You don't have to win the war alone. Let me speak louder than the voice of fear. Let me remind you of who you are, even when everything else tries to make you forget. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. Every cell in your body carries the imprint of my love. Every breath you take is evidence that purpose still pulses through your veins. Don't believe the lie that your best days are behind you. I'm not recycling old glory. I'm preparing new beauty. I'm not finished writing your story. The chapters ahead will make sense of the pain behind. What you lost will be nothing compared to what I'm about to reveal. Not because you earned it, but because I promised. And I never break my word. So be still, not in resignation, but in expectation. Be still long enough to hear the whisper behind the wind, the rhythm of my grace beneath the noise of your worry. I'm speaking even now through the quiet, through the tension, through the ache you haven't been able to name. You are standing in sacred space, and though it may not look like breakthrough yet, you are surrounded by angels, held by heaven, and guided by a love that cannot be shaken. This is not the end. It's the beginning you didn't know you needed. Let your guard down with me. I won't misuse your vulnerability. I won't weaponize your weakness. I won't shame you for your pain. I will hold you through it. I will rebuild you from it, and I will anoint you in it. This pain will not be wasted. This waiting will not be for nothing. I am weaving every detail into a greater design, even when you can't trace my hand. Trust the pattern of my faithfulness. Look back, not with regret, but with revelation. See how far I've carried you. How many nights I held you while you thought you were alone. You were never alone. You have walked through fire, but you were never consumed. You passed through floods, but you did not drown. That was me, placing strength in your bones when you wanted to give up. That was me, whispering reminders of your worth when you forgot who you were. That was me, rerouting your path when it looked like everything had fallen apart. My fingerprints are all over your survival. And now, I'm not just preserving you, I'm propelling you. I'm not just comforting you, I'm commissioning you. I didn't bring you this far just to soothe you. I brought you here to awaken you. So lift your eyes, not in fear, but in readiness. What's ahead is not something you have to conquer alone. I go before you. I clear the path. I open the doors. And when the weight feels too heavy again, I carry it. I carry you. That's who I am. Not just the God of miracles, but the God of moments, the one who walks with you in every detail, every delay, every detour. And I'm not leaving. I'm not changing. I'm not disappointed. I am invested in you, in your healing, in your destiny. Nothing will stop what I've started. There is a shift taking place, not around you, but within you. You may not feel it yet, but your soul has already begun to rise. The heaviness that clung to you like a second skin is loosening its grip, and in its place, I am clothing you with strength, with peace, with clarity. What once felt like chaos is becoming alignment. Where there was confusion, I am planting discernment. I am awakening what life tried to numb. You're not going back to who you used to be because I'm not rebuilding the old version of you. I'm forming something new, something refined by the fire, something unshakable. You've outgrown the spaces that once felt comfortable, and that's why you've felt so restless. It's not because you're lost, it's because you're being expanded. I've placed more inside you than you've yet discovered. Dreams you buried beneath fear are being uncovered. Strength you didn't know you had is about to surprise you. This is the season where I reintroduce you to yourself. Not the self shaped by pain or pressure, but the one I envisioned when I formed you in secret. The one whose voice carries power, whose heart holds compassion, whose hands were made to heal, to build, to bless. I know the nights have been long. I know the silence has been deafening. I know you've wondered if I've gone quiet. But silence isn't absence. Stillness isn't neglect. I've been working beneath the surface, where roots grow deep and foundations are fortified. I've been preparing you not just for a breakthrough moment, but for a lifestyle of purpose. You were never meant to live in cycles of collapse and survival. You were meant to walk in steady confidence, grounded in truth that doesn't shake when the world does. And that truth is this: I am with you. I am for you. And I am not done. You don't need more evidence to trust me. You need more remembrance. Look at how many times I've caught you. Look at how many times I've pulled you back from the edge, whispered peace into your panic, sent hope through unexpected people, unexpected places. That wasn't luck. That was love. That was me. And I haven't changed. My pace may feel slow to you, but my timing is perfect. My methods may feel strange, but they are strategic. You don't see all the pieces, but I see the picture, and I promise you this: when it comes together, you'll understand why I said wait when you wanted to rush. Don't fear the delay. I'm not just developing the promise, I'm developing the person who will carry it. What I'm building in you requires stability, not just excitement, depth, not just speed. You've cried for promotion, but I'm giving you preparation. You've begged for doors to open, but I'm strengthening your legs for the rooms you're about to enter. I don't want you to just visit your blessing, I want you to remain in it. I want you to thrive in the place I'm taking you, not collapse from the weight of answered prayers you weren't ready to hold. So let me finish the work. Trust me with the becoming. Your identity is not tied to your pace. You're not falling behind. You're not being overlooked. You are exactly where you need to be for who you're becoming. And though the journey may feel slower than you hoped, it's sacred. Every moment you've spent healing instead of hiding, resting instead of rushing, choosing forgiveness instead of revenge, that's where you became powerful. That's where my glory settled on you. Not in your highlight reel, but in your private obedience. Not when everyone clapped, but when you chose me in secret. Heaven noticed, and heaven will reward. You are not forgotten in the crowd. I know your name. I know your thoughts. I know the ache you never voiced out loud. I saw the quiet yes you gave me when no one else knew the cost. And I am not unjust. I will honor every sacrifice, every tear, every silent act of surrender. Nothing has been wasted. Not the pain, not the waiting, not the wondering. I redeem it all. I use it all. Even the things that broke your heart are becoming the soil from which new joy will grow. What crushed you is becoming the foundation of your calling. So let yourself believe again. I know it's risky. I know disappointment taught you to lower your expectations, but I'm not like those who let you down. I don't tease with hope, I deliver. I don't make empty promises, I fulfill every word. And And I am calling you to lift your head not in pride, but in hope. Not because of what you can do, but because of who I am. I am the God who restores, the God who defends, the God who sees the end from the beginning and walks with you every step in between. This is your rebuilding season, not your breaking season. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. You're not being ignored. You're being intensified. I'm refining you for more than you asked for, more than you dreamed, more than you dared to believe was possible. This isn't the end of your story, it's the part where the light breaks through, where the dust begins to settle, where the divine reveals itself in the ordinary. And I will be with you not just in the mountaintop moments, but in the quiet daily unfolding of transformation. You've wondered, will this pain ever make sense? And I tell you, no, yes. Not always immediately, but inevitably. There will be a time when you look back and see how I used every wound to open you to greater love, every delay to protect your path, every loss to teach you eternal gain. I am not wasteful. I do not cause harm, but I redeem it when it happens. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is beyond my reach. So breathe again, trust again, rise again, because what's ahead is not just restoration, it's resurrection. You have carried burdens that were never yours to hold. Expectations, guilt, comparisons, fears, they've clung to your shoulders like chains, weighing down your joy, dimming your vision. But I am unlocking every chain now. I am reclaiming the territory of your peace. This is not the life I designed for you to walk burdened by what others think, to measure your worth by performance, to chase love as if you had to earn it. No, I created you to live free, to wake up each day knowing you are already loved, already seen, already enough, not because of what you do, but because of who I say you are. Let this truth anchor you. You are not a disappointment to me, not for the times you doubted, not for the moments you fell, not for the years you spent wandering. My love isn't fragile. It doesn't withdraw when you struggle. It runs deeper than your confusion, wider than your mistakes, louder than your silence. I didn't choose you because you were flawless. I chose you because you're mine. And nothing you've done, nothing you've lost, nothing you've feared has ever made me regret calling your name. I still want you. I still believe in you. I still have more for you. There is a reason you couldn't give up, even when everything in you wanted to. There is a reason the fire didn't consume you, the storm didn't drown you, the despair didn't finish you off. It's because I placed something inside of you that darkness cannot kill, a flame that continues to burn even when the winds rage. That flame is purpose. That flame is promise. That flame is me. You've mistaken survival for stagnation. But the truth is, every breath you took in defiance of your pain was an act of progress. You didn't just endure, you were being made new. You don't need to chase after what is already assigned to you. You don't need to exhaust yourself proving your worth or fighting for what's meant for someone else. What I have spoken over your life cannot be stolen. It doesn't expire. It doesn't vanish when others get there first. Your path is yours alone, and it's sacred. I'm not in a rush with you. I don't measure your growth by timelines, metrics, or outward success. I'm interested in your heart, in your healing, in your becoming, and I delight in every step forward, no matter how small it may seem to you. So stop punishing yourself for what didn't work out. Stop replaying scenes in your mind, trying to find where you went wrong. Some things didn't break because you failed. They broke because I was protecting you. Not everything lost was a loss. Sometimes, what leaves creates space for what's aligned. Sometimes, rejection is direction. I know what you need better than you do. And while the pain of letting go is real, so is the beauty of what's coming next. Trust me, what I'm doing in your life isn't random, it's redemptive. I've seen how hard it's been to hope again, to believe in new beginnings when the past still echoes so loudly. But child, don't let history become your prophecy. I do new things, remember. I make rivers in the desert, roads in the wilderness. I can restore what no one else can. I can breathe life into places others wrote off. You are not bound to cycles of pain. You are not doomed to repeat old patterns. My spirit in you breaks those chains, rewrites those stories, transforms those wounds into wisdom. And you, yes, you will live in freedom. I'm not interested in surface-level change. I'm after your wholeness, the kind of healing that goes beyond behavior and into belief. I want you to know deep in your bones that you are loved without conditions, that you are safe with me, that your worth is not fragile. So let me into the places you've kept locked, the memories you avoid, the shame you hide. I won't recoil. I won't condemn. I'll cover you in mercy and lead you out of darkness, one step at a time, one truth at a time, until you walk lighter, speak freer, love deeper. You don't need to wait until you're better to come close to me. Come messy, come weary. Come as you are. I won't turn you away. I am not afraid of your questions, your emotions, your weakness. In fact, I meet you there, right in the rawness, right in the honesty. That's where real relationship begins. Not in pretending to be strong, but in letting me be your strength. Not in hiding your flaws, but in letting me heal them. This is not a transaction, it's transformation, and it begins with surrender. There's a table I've prepared for you, not just someday, but now. A table of grace, of joy, of truth. A place where striving ends and belonging begins. Where the noise of the world is silenced by my whisper. You don't need to earn your seat. I already made room for you. And everything you've been through, every tear, every trial, every lonely night is being used to deepen your hunger for what's real. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're being recalibrated to walk in fullness. So take your place. Lift your head. This is the season of coming home to me. I am not done speaking. I am not done healing. I am not done showing you what only I can do. Keep your heart open, even when it trembles. Keep showing up, even when it feels small. Because what I'm unfolding in your life is greater than what you're letting go of. The best is not behind you. It's ahead. And I'll be there, faithful as ever, steady as always, guiding you into more than you ever imagined. I never expected you to have it all figured out. That pressure you've placed on yourself didn't come from me. I'm not asking you to be perfect, I'm asking you to be present. I'm not waiting for a polished version of you to show up. I'm walking with you through the cracks, the questions, the chaos. You see mistakes. I see growth. You see weakness. I see opportunity. You see delay. I see preparation. My timing is not your punishment. It's protection. And everything I withhold, everything I slow down, everything I reroute, is rooted in love, not rejection. If you could see what I see, you would stop fearing every pause and begin to trust that I am still moving, even in silence. You have mourned seasons that were only meant to be stepping stones. You've called endings failures when they were really divine redirections. I never meant for you to settle in places I was only using to shape you. There's a reason you feel discomfort in certain rooms. It's because your spirit is outgrowing what once felt safe. I am calling you deeper, not just into new situations, but into a new version of you. One that walks with courage instead of anxiety. One that speaks with authority instead of insecurity. One that dreams with boldness, not fear. You've been shrinking to fit into spaces I never meant for you to remain in. But now, I'm expanding you. Do not confuse your current discomfort with disfavor. This pressure is producing something sacred. You're being refined, not rejected. You're being stretched, not broken. You're being awakened, not abandoned. I have heard every prayer you whispered through tears, every longing buried beneath disappointment, and I promise you, I haven't ignored them. I'm just answering in ways that go deeper than you expected. I'm not interested in surface solutions. I'm building endurance. I'm forming character. I'm setting you up not just for a moment of victory, but for a life of sustained peace. And that kind of strength takes time to form. You've spent enough time apologizing for your existence, for taking up space, for feeling deeply, for dreaming differently. But I created you to be fully alive, not merely agreeable. I didn't place that fire in your soul to be tamed. You are not too much. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. Your desires matter. And I will teach you how to walk in them with both humility and boldness. I didn't call you to blend in, I called you to shine. And that light will make some uncomfortable, but it will also guide others home. So don't dim it to make others feel better. Honor what I've placed inside you. You've been carrying old labels that were never yours to begin with. Words spoken in moments of anger, abandonment, or ignorance, labels like unworthy, difficult, broken, forgotten. But I never called you those things. I call you chosen. I call you loved. I call you redeemed. I call you whole. Let those other voices fade. Let their grip break. Their power over you only remains when you agree with them. But today, I invite you to agree with me instead, to believe that you are not the sum of your failures or the product of your pain. You are my beloved, and that truth cannot be undone. Healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel strong, and others, you'll feel like you've taken steps backward. But progress is happening, even when it's invisible. Don't judge the process by how you feel feelings shift, but truth stands firm. And the truth is this: I am healing you. I am guiding you. I am working, even in the unseen. Let yourself rest in that. You don't have to strive your way into wholeness. Just keep showing up. Keep surrendering. Keep breathing. I am doing the heavy lifting in your soul, and all I ask is that you let me. You've believed that your emotions disqualify you, that if you feel too much, you must be spiritually weak. But I created those emotions. They're not a flaw, they're a signal. And when surrendered to me, they become a doorway into deeper awareness, deeper empathy, deeper connection. Don't bury them, don't numb them, invite me into them. Let me sit with you in your sadness. Let me hold you in your anger. Let me comfort you in your fear. I'm not distant when you feel heavy, I draw near. And in that nearness, you'll find healing that logic alone could never provide. You may not see the full picture right now, but that doesn't mean the picture isn't forming. Every brushstroke of your story matters. The beauty is in the layers, the shadows, the light. Nothing is wasted, not the detours, not the delays, not the doubts. I use it all. I weave it all. What felt like random chaos will one day be revealed as intentional design. But for now, walk by faith. Trust me even when the colors don't make sense. I'm the artist, and you are my masterpiece in progress. And I am not finished yet. There's a boldness rising in you that the enemy hoped you'd never rediscover. A boldness not rooted in pride but in identity. You are remembering who you are, who I said you were from the beginning. And as you rise, the atmosphere around you shifts. You are no longer available for lies, for shame, for fear. You are walking in truth, and truth sets you free. So keep standing, even when it feels like trembling. Keep speaking, even when your voice shakes. That trembling is strength being born. That shaking is courage, taking root. You're not who you used to be, and that's a miracle worth celebrating. I've placed people in your path who will see you, not just need you. People who will speak life over your dreams instead of doubt. People who will pray with you, not just for you. But first, I'm teaching you to recognize what is not love, to stop calling pain loyalty, to stop mistaking manipulation for connection, to stop settling for crumbs when I've prepared a feast. You deserve relationships that reflect how I love you, patient, kind, truth-filled, healing. And as you learn to love yourself the way I do, you'll stop entertaining what doesn't align with that love. You've walked through storms that no one else saw, battles that didn't leave bruises on your skin but left marks on your soul. And still, you've kept going. Still, you've chosen to hope. Still, you've whispered prayers through clenched teeth and tired eyes. I've seen all of it. I've been there for all of it. And not a single moment of that pain has been wasted. You didn't endure for nothing. Every tear, every sleepless night, every internal scream you silenced just to make it through another day, it all counts in eternity. It is not forgotten, and it will not go unanswered. I'm turning it into testimony, into fire, into unshakable strength. The very places you've bled will become the places you bless others from. I know you've asked me, why did it take so long, and why did it have to hurt this way? But beloved, delay is not denial. What looked like me being distant was actually me being protective. There were things I had to keep from you because you weren't ready to carry them, and things I had to remove because they would have crushed you. There were paths that looked like blessing but were traps in disguise. So I rerouted you. I withheld what you thought you needed, so I could give you what you truly needed me. You prayed for breakthrough, and I gave you depth. You prayed for the mountain to move, and I taught you to climb it. And now you see that every step shaped your faith more than a shortcut ever could. There's a glory that only comes through endurance. You've been refined by fire, but you haven't been consumed. You've been pressed, but not destroyed. And now, what you carry isn't just a story, it's an anointing. Your voice has weight because it's been forged in pain and sealed by grace. When you speak, chains break. When you pray, things shift. Not because you are powerful in yourself, but because you've been emptied and filled by me. You no longer operate out of striving. You move in surrender. That's where the real power is. That's where miracles begin. You've believed that your obedience had to look dramatic or public to matter. But the quiet yes, the one that no one saw but me, was just as powerful. The time you forgave without apology. The time you gave when it hurt. The time you stayed faithful when everything screamed at you to quit. These moments echo in heaven. They are not small. They are holy. The kingdom is built on moments like these. Do not despise the days of hidden obedience. I use those most deeply. I reward those most richly. And what I'm preparing for you in private, I will reveal in due time with glory. You've seen others flourish while you felt stuck. And sometimes envy crept in, not because you're ungrateful, but because you're human and weary. But comparison is a thief. It steals your focus, your peace, your joy. Their story is not your story. Their pace is not your pace. I'm not in a hurry, and I don't measure success the way the world does. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're being tailored finely, intricately, with care. The longer the preparation, the greater the assignment. And yours is great. So fix your eyes back on me. I will finish what I started in you, on my terms, in my timing. There's a quiet courage growing in you, even when you don't feel brave. Every time you show up despite fear, every time you speak when your voice shakes, every time you risk vulnerability, it grows. I'm not asking you to pretend. I'm asking you to trust. There is no shame in trembling. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's movement in the presence of it. And you're moving, you're rising, you're becoming. Even when your knees wobble, you are still standing. And that, to me, is beautiful. You are not meant to live numb. The armor you built to protect yourself has also been blocking the joy, the wonder, the connection I long to give you. I know it felt safer to shut down, to harden, to survive, but I'm calling you back to life. I'm peeling back the layers not to expose you, but to restore you, to awaken your senses again, to make you feel the sun on your face, the warmth of laughter, the rush of hope. You were not created to be cold. You were made to feel, to love, to burn with purpose, and I will help you thaw. Every door I've closed was intentional. Not every opportunity lost was a missed blessing. Some were mercies in disguise. Some were escape routes from traps you didn't see. I am not cruel, and I do not tease. When I close a door, it's because I know what's on the other side. And when I open one, no one can shut it. So rest. You don't have to pry things open. You don't have to force what's not flowing. What's for you will come with peace, with clarity, with confirmation. Wait on me, and you won't be disappointed. I am not limited by what limits you. I'm not intimidated by your weakness, your past, your patterns. I work best in surrendered spaces. You don't have to fix yourself before coming to me. Come undone. Come unfiltered. Come confused. I am the one who heals, who restores, who renews. Let me do what only I can. You've carried burdens too heavy for too long. It's time to lay them down not just once, but daily. And as you do, you'll discover the freedom that comes not from control, but from trust. I delight in you, not the future version of you, not the improved version of you. You, right now, in your mess and beauty and questions. I delight in you. My love isn't based on performance. It's based on my nature, and I am love. So stop trying to earn what's already been given. Let me love you now. Let me hold you now. Let me bless you now, not because you've done enough, but because I'm that good. There's something I need you to understand more deeply. Your worth has never been measured by your progress, your productivity, or your perfection. Your value doesn't fluctuate with your mood, your failures, or your victories. It was set the moment I formed you. It was sealed when I breathed life into you. Nothing can diminish that. Not what they said, not what you did, not what didn't happen. I am not watching you from a distance, waiting for you to impress me. I'm right here, invested in every breath, every battle, every breakthrough you don't even see coming yet. You matter to me, not as a project, but as my beloved. You've been trying to hold everything together, haven't you? Afraid that if you let go for even a moment, it will all collapse. But you were never meant to carry that pressure. That's not your role. You are not the glue of the universe. I am. You don't have to manage outcomes. You don't have to solve everything. You just need to stay close to me. I'll guide your steps. I'll protect your path. I'll breathe into what feels dry. Your surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. And in your surrender, I will strengthen you. I will take the weight that's been silently suffocating you and turn it into wings. I know you've had moments where you questioned if I was even listening. Silence can feel like abandonment when your heart is breaking. But my silence was never absence. It was space for you to grow, for your faith to deepen, for your roots to go down so strong that no storm could rip you out. Sometimes I step back not to leave you, but to let you see what I've already placed inside you. You have more in you than you know. And when I speak again, when I move again, it will make sense. You'll realize I was never gone. I was watching you become. There is a time for planting, and there is a time for harvest. You've been in a planting season for longer than you expected. You've watered fields with your tears, your prayers, your sacrifices, and though it felt invisible, nothing was in vain. The roots were growing even when nothing was visible above ground. But now, the ground is breaking. Now the fruit is emerging. Do not miss the signs. Do not overlook the small beginnings. What I am doing may seem subtle at first, but it will grow. What starts as a whisper will become a roar. What starts as a flicker will become a fire. The harvest is coming. Get ready. You've longed for clarity, but what I'm offering you is peace beyond understanding. Clarity demands answers, but peace comes from trust. You won't always understand the why, but you can rest in the who. I'm not asking you to fake being okay. I'm inviting you to walk with me through the uncertainty, to find me in the middle of the unknown. You're not wandering. You're not lost. You are being led even when it feels like you're walking in the dark. My hand is on you. My spirit is guiding you, and soon the light will break through. Forgiveness has been hard for you lately. You've carried pain that doesn't heal overnight. I see that. I honor your process. But freedom is found in release. Holding on to what hurt you may feel like control, but it's really a chain. I want to help you cut it. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means surrendering the need for justice into my hands. It means choosing peace over poison. You were not made to carry bitterness. You were made to be free. And I will help you. I will heal you not only from what they did, but from what it did to your heart. There is still joy ahead. I know it's hard to believe after so many disappointments. I know hope feels dangerous when you've been let down before. But joy is not a distant dream, it's a promise. A deep, sustaining joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. I'm awakening that within you again. I'm breathing life into the places where joy was buried, under fear and fatigue. You'll laugh again. Not a surface laugh, but one that bubbles from the soul. The kind that says, I made it through, and I'm still here. The kind that carries healing. That day is closer than you think. Your identity has been under attack, and you've questioned who you even are anymore. But let me remind you, you are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are not what they labeled you. You are mine. Chosen. Set apart. Redeemed. You carry my image, my spirit, my authority. You have access to heavenly wisdom, heavenly strength, heavenly love. No voice that contradicts, that has permission to define you. You are more than a survivor, you are a vessel of glory. And no lie can change that truth. There is no failure too deep for my grace to reach. There is no mess too complicated for my mercy to enter. I specialize in restoring what others write off. I don't give up on people. I don't give up on you. So stop rehearsing your regrets. Stop reliving what cannot be undone. Bring it to me. Lay it down. Let me redeem it. What you call ruined, I call rebuildable. What you call too far gone, I call a starting point. I don't need perfection. I need permission to enter, to heal, to transform, and I will, if you'll let me. This next season won't look like the last. It won't feel like survival mode. It will carry a new rhythm, a new flow. I'm inviting you into rest, not laziness, but sacred rest. A kind of rest that refreshes your soul, that allows you to receive rather than constantly perform. You've done enough striving. Now it's time to learn how to abide, to let my love carry you, to let my presence be the place you draw strength from daily. That's where fruit grows, without force. That's where your heart begins to flourish again. This is not just about comfort. It's about calling. You were not created to merely survive this world, but to transform it. I placed within you gifts that this generation desperately needs. There are words inside you that will break chains. There are prayers inside you that will shake atmospheres. And there is power inside you that has not even been touched yet. Don't underestimate what I can do through your surrendered life. Even your quiet obedience echoes in eternity. Every time you say yes to me, heaven moves, and the ripple effects of your faithfulness will reach far beyond what your eyes can see. You may feel small, but the spirit inside you is not small. You may feel invisible, but you are fully known and fully seen by me. You may feel behind, but I am the one who redeems time. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. I will accelerate what was delayed. I will revive what was suffocated by discouragement. You haven't missed your moment, it's been preserved. I haven't forgotten what I spoke over you. My promises are still alive. I am still writing your story, and I do not end things in defeat. What's coming next will require your trust on a deeper level. Not because I want to test you, but because I want to strengthen you. You will walk into rooms you once thought were too high for you. You will face challenges that would have crushed you in the past, but now, they will refine you. What once felt impossible will begin to feel natural because I've been preparing you. Quietly, strategically, lovingly. I've been shaping you for more, and now the doors are beginning to open. Not because of chance, because of destiny. This moment in your life is sacred. You're standing in between what was and what will be. The enemy has tried to flood this threshold with fear, anxiety, hesitation, but I am standing here too. And I'm saying, cross over. Cross over from survival into abundance, from confusion into clarity, from heaviness into hope. It doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean everything will be guided, covered, blessed, because I am going with you. You will not walk alone. You never have. Your heart needs rest, and I am that rest. Not a pause from pain, but a place of peace even in the middle of it. Rest in the truth that you are chosen. Rest in the truth that you are protected. Rest in the truth that nothing formed against you shall prosper, not even the battles in your own mind. I am silencing the voice of fear. I am calming the inner storm. I am speaking life over your weary soul. You don't have to fake strength anymore. Let me be your strength. Let me hold what you've been hiding. Some days ahead will still feel heavy, but you'll carry them differently. Because you'll remember, this weight isn't yours to bear. You'll breathe deeper, walk freer. You'll begin to smile without guilt, laugh without restraint, love without fear. I am bringing joy where sorrow lived. I am turning mourning into dancing. I am restoring your wonder. You've lost your sense of awe, but I am reawakening it. You'll start seeing me in the ordinary, in the sunrise, in your breath, in the laughter of those you love. My goodness will follow you all the days of your life, not because you deserve it, but because you're mine. You've asked, Lord, why me? And I answer, because I trust you. I know what I placed in you. I know what you're capable of with me. I know the impact your story will have on others. I chose you because you wouldn't give up when it got hard, because you would worship through the warfare, because you would seek me even when I seemed silent. You are not weak. You are a warrior in disguise. And the battles you fought in secret are being honored in the open. I'm about to showcase my glory through your resilience. You are not who you used to be. You've outgrown the identity that was attached to your pain. You've shed the skin of shame, of guilt, of limitation. You're walking into a new version of you, one that's aligned with heaven, one that reflects my light, one that carries healing in your words, power in your prayers, and fire in your faith. Don't look back. Don't shrink to fit old environments. Don't silence yourself to make others comfortable. Walk boldly, speak freely, love radically. That's what I placed you here for. That's what you were born for. I am with you until the end. Not until you mess up. Not until you get tired. Not until you doubt. Until the end. Through the storms. Through the silence. Through the seasons of joy and the nights of pain. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. My love doesn't fluctuate. My plans don't change. My presence doesn't leave. Even when you fall, I am the one who lifts. Even when you run, I am the one who waits. Even when you break, I am the one who restores. That's who I've always been. That's who I will always be. For you. So now, exhale. The worst is behind you. You are still standing because grace caught you. You are still breathing because purpose holds you. And you are still believing because I am not done with you. This isn't just survival, it's revival. This is the beginning of a new flow, a new season, a new level of awareness, strength, and intimacy with me. Everything is shifting not because the world changed, but because you did. And the change in you will change everything around you. Watch and see. I'm not just healing you, I'm sending you. Not just restoring you, I'm commissioning you. You are ready. Amen. Now speak this message to someone else. Share it. Live it. Carry it. You are not just the receiver of these words, you are the vessel of my voice. If this touched your heart, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Leave your prayer in the comments below. Subscribe for more daily messages. And stay close because I am not done speaking.